Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Please tell me you updated the thumbnail.
Yeah, the thumbnail.
I think it's fine, Danny.
The thumbnail's fine.
Okay.
I think it's glorious.
It's glorious. Question is, do you get a copyright strike for that?
Probably.
Well, how would you know? We haven't heard it in months.
It's still copyrighted by whatever they are.
Well, it's ruined anyway, so.
Well, I don't know what company they have. I mean, I know what company it is, but nonetheless. Anyway, you guys ready for the live stream?
Yeah, let's do this.
I'm ready for the live stream, man. Talking about some Steelers free agents, man. As
Yep.
you know, they're pretty much taking forever to do anything, but we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, if we keep waiting here, we're gonna be skeletons soon. I mean, Jesus, man.
Yeah. God, man, Steelers are just taking forever to do anything.
And listen, it's something, that we all anticipated and expected. It's a Steelers tendency to wait till the very last minute. But at the same time, with this new administration, with Omar Khan and Andy Weidel, with how more open they are, especially, before the season started last season with Omar Khan making all those moves with signing guys, getting guys to the team. Mm-hmm. You figured there'd be a bit of a different tune this offseason.
More of an immediate tune. By the way, hit record on that just so that we have the audio file.
Yeah.
All right, now we are recording.
I got a little I got a little bit of jet lag.
A little bit. Now you kind of went backwards in your day, man. The Sunday was supposed to be do the podcast and the stream, and then you're supposed to have a little Shay leave.
A little Shay leave.
But you went pretty much ass backwards.
Yeah. So this is gonna be an interesting podcast.
It's gonna be fun. That's all I can say.
It's gonna be interesting.
But this is we're gonna have a lot of talking points today, and a lot I really wanted to get into for a couple weeks now. But obviously, timing is everything.
Yeah.
And of course, the new league year starts Wednesday.
Which, man, the more I think about it, time is just really flying.
It's already mid-March.
It's already mid-March, and again, like I'm sitting there thinking, like, oh, we got 2 weeks until free agency, and now here we are.
Yeah.
Already.
So in a couple days, all the Steelers free agents will indeed become free agents. And as far as we know, the Steelers have only done one move regarding cap or free agency. That is releasing William Jackson. In other news, Dan Moore sucks.
I got to be honest, too, the whole situation of releasing him, it's a drop in the bucket in NFL terms. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
It's not a lot of money, and we're sitting here waiting for the Steelers to do anything.
It clears up a little over 10 mil, or nearly 10 mil. I mean, they have just over 10 mil now in cap space to work with, but they still have ways to create more, but they're not doing it. Like I see all these other teams, the Packers, the Jets, the Jags, the Titans, the Saints, all these teams make moves to create cap space. The Dolphins even created like $40 million over 4 moves. Mm-hmm. We have only made one move, which was the biggest no-brainer all offseason.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single body on the planet that, Steeler fan-wise, that didn't see that coming.
Yeah, unless you completely forgot he was on the roster, which I don't blame you.
William Jackson, the forgotten Steeler.
The forgotten Steeler, man. The guy hiding underneath the stairs.
The wanted Steeler 6 years ago, and now it's like he never even actually happened. But nonetheless, I mean, there's ways they can make room. I mean, as we know, there's plenty of players with a lot of cap hits. Their cap hits are actually a little more excessive than they really should be, and that's due to the contracts that they signed last year. Guys like Mitch Trubisky, guys like Chucks, Mason Cole, Miles Jack. 0 moves have been done. Even some of the guys that have made restructures in years past, guys like Watt, Minka, Hayward, nothing's been done yet. Nothing. And my question is why? Now, maybe I'm just too impatient. Maybe I gave them a little bit too more earlier expectations on making moves. I just think because of how Kenny's in a rookie year and this is an important offseason and we really want to make moves quick in the amount of free agents we have and the positions we have to fill, I figured they jumped the gun on certain things. But no, they're really waiting until the very last second to do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. And I'll pull up some of the cap hits for some of these players. I had it up, and I completely lost it.
Well, you know what a lot of the fans are going to say. A lot of the super fans, I guess, on Twitter. Although I'd consider us the super fans, but we're in a weird time.
Yeah.
Everything up is down, down is up. And so, they're going to sit there and say, well, the Steelers, that's how they operate. That's what they always do.
You're right.
That's what they always do.
And even though we have a new GM and a new administration, an assistant GM, nothing drastic is going to change. I just figured we'd make some moves by now. Trucks has $13 million in a cap hit this year. He still has 2 years on his contract. Why can't we restructure, take some of that cap to next year, and turn most of it into a signing bonus? I mean, we could save $5, $6, $7 million off this guy alone. Same thing with Mason Cole, Miles Jack. Maybe give him a 1-year extension, no extra cost to lessen the cap hit. Same thing with Mitch Trubisky.
You do the same thing for a guy like James Daniels at the same time. The contract they gave him.
That's a good one too. I mean, Witherspoon was cut. William Jackson was cut.
Witherspoon, I mean, I kind of hope he gets cut. Honestly, he doesn't really seem to.
There's no point. There's no point in keeping Witherspoon. The only point I can see in keeping him is for depth and experience purposes. Because if you look at the cornerback position, we are low in numbers. We only have Wallace, Witherspoon, and Millette. That is it under contract. That's it. Sutton could be gone. He's getting talks from the Lions and the Vikings. Pierre could be gone. He can fill in that Witherspoon role easily, much cheaper. But we're just doing nothing, man. I mean, if we were to cut Witherspoon, we would save. How much will we save? We would save. Let's see. We would save $4 million.
It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. That could go to somebody, a depth piece to resign.
But they're just not doing any moves, and I don't understand why. And I don't know.
I know that Tomlin said that that's how they were going to do the offseason.
Yeah.
But when he mentioned that, I didn't think it would be all the way up to the free agency period.
Yeah, like to the last second.
Last second. Like, you're literally, there's, 3 days?
Yeah.
And that door opens. In fact, no, tomorrow. Technically.
Yeah, 3 days, that's when the new league year begins and everything's official. But tomorrow is the opening for free agents to actually talk to teams and even agree to contracts.
Which means a guy like Cameron Sutton getting talks from the Lions and Vikings, he could be signed by 12 o'clock tomorrow, and he's no longer a Steeler.
Or a guy like Terrell Edmonds, same thing. Or DeMonte Casey or Larry Ogunjobi.
Guys will discuss later in this podcast. But, yeah, you guys are right. Like, even if they don't want to take cap hits or restructures or do restructures to some of the guys I mentioned, even some of the veteran guys we've had that have done it for years past, they still haven't approached them about anything. I just don't know why this front office isn't making any moves. And it's kind of frustrating, and it worries me a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
A lot for me.
I mean, I gave them some praise and promise, and I put my faith in them this offseason. I still do. I was just hoping for some extra news today. Or today.
Yeah, and there still could be. I mean, it's still pretty early in the afternoon. You know, we could be seeing some news throughout the week before the season does officially start on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, according to Dominique here in chat, he says that big news, Baker Mayfield is trying to get a contract with the Bucs. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but one of us was joking about that earlier.
Yeah, it was off camera. Didn't I say, because remember, they did a Super Bowl commercial, the 100th
I know what you're talking
season.
about.
Yeah, Brady gave Baker the rings, and it's like it was meant to be, right? I mentioned the Buccaneers as a team for Baker to sign. Now, apparently, it's a possibility.
In fact, listen to this. Since we're talking free agency moves and trades and signings, not related to the Steelers, but apparently, according to Justina Anderson, who I don't really find very reliable, but she did say that the Rams and Dolphins are in deep discussions on a trade for Jalen Ramsey.
Wow.
That would explain why the Dolphins made a lot of cap space. And they have picks, too.
And there's other teams doing that, to making the cap space.
Yeah.
And here the Steelers are.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow the door kind of creaks open a little bit. And then Wednesday it's wide open.
Yeah.
And we don't even have cap
I mean,
space.
you even see the Jets. They're making cap moves to try to afford Aaron Rodgers because that's looking almost imminent. We're not doing nothing.
No,
I don't get it.
Right now we're just sitting on our hands now.
And I'm going to be honest, okay? This is probably going to be a small, tiny rant here.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dominique says, or a Steelers card, says Steelers do everything last minute. I'm very aware of that, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the complacency. I'm sick of the, it's not time to rebuild. It's not time to get things going. It's not time. Like, why do we continue to be the team always behind everybody else?
I agree.
What, based on history?
Like, what has that done for us in the past? What has that done for us?
In the past, it's done great things, but what is it doing for us now?
But more recently, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
More recently. I mean,
the only thing it has amounted to is non-losing seasons.
We haven't won anything.
I hate to say that, but I'm sorry, it's true. It's the only thing that's done anything for us.
Frankly, some of the guys we picked up in years past just haven't done much. Last year might be a little bit of an exception, but just in years past, I mean, I can't really think of anyone we've brought in to be like, hey, that was worth making a quick move for. But again, the Steelers are running with the same mentality. I always call it the same old Steelers. Shout out to the Chief. That's what he used to say about the team before the legacy started in the 70s. I don't understand it,
I mean,
man.
that's how they are. And like I said at the start of the podcast, we anticipated this. This was expected, but
that doesn't make it good.
No, it's like having the same dinner every day, right? Like pizza or something like that. Like, it's good, it's tasty, but it gets stale, it gets tiring.
Yeah, it's like
this is tiring.
It's like me, I eat a certain food for only so long, and it's like, okay, I got to switch it up somewhere.
Yeah.
Especially when I was doing the keto diet last year. It gets old when you're doing the same thing. So when are the Steelers going to get tired of doing the same thing over and over again, and these are the results we're getting?
Exactly.
So,
especially with the number of free agents that not only we have, but that are entering the free agency market at positions of our need, which is full.
I'm glad you just said that. There's another comment here from Brett in chat who says, get an actual need like offense or defensive line. And I know we got to talk about free agency and stuff, but I kind of want to touch on that quick before we get into those actual discussions.
Yeah.
Do we still need line considering what the Bears did? Let me rephrase that. We need line.
Yes.
But thank you, Shaleev. but are we going to be able to? Because now the Bears traded that pick.
Yeah. Which means tackles could go very early, and thus the top three that we all adore could not be there. Now, this is all before any moves are made. A guy like Orlando Brown's going to break the bank, and teams that couldn't need tackle could break the bank for a guy like him because they can afford
it.
You
said, the Bears have cap space.
They have they have almost $90 million to spend, man. They're the only team that can afford what he wants. So that might help our case come draft day, but that'll all be told in about a week or so.
Yeah, it really would be. Or within the next month for sure.
Yeah. No, Dominic. No. No to OBJ. No.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, wait, what?
Man.
No.
I keep hearing there's reports. He still thinks he's still trying to seek $20 million. I don't know how accurate that is. Is he out of his mind? Does he not want to play football again?
Yeah, I think it was something like 15, 20 million.
I'm looking for 15, 20 million too, but I'm not getting signed up.
I don't know. Coming up,
injury history,
and you're not playing a year to rehab that injury like that. That's a big risk. I don't think any team's going to do that.
Yeah, it is.
Unless one team's desperate, like maybe the Jets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pennsylvania Rick with a $2 super chat says Packers Steelers Super Bowl in Vegas.
Maybe years from now.
Maybe
down the road. I don't know.
A-Rod's on his way out, and the Steelers aren't there yet.
No. And I don't. Who's the Packers quarterback going to be?
It would be Julian Love, wouldn't it?
I guess
Jordan.
Yeah.
Hey
man, you've been smoking that Shaleev, man.
No.
I don't know, a little contact high earlier. I don't know,
maybe.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers cards right here. Teams in front of us that could take offensive line is the Bears, Titans, and Jets. They're all in front of us.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what changed in the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't actually think that when I first saw that trade come up on Twitter. Like that wasn't my first.
Which, by the way, that was a mega trade by the Bears.
It was.
They got a great haul,
and it could work out for both teams.
And I will say, man, the tandem of Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, and DJ Moore is very nice for Fields. Like, I'm very happy for Fields, and I think the Bears are on the come-ups. For sure.
Dude, they have everything they need. There's no excuses.
Yeah.
You got a young quarterback. You got a pretty good running back. You got receivers now. You just need an offensive line. You got some defensive parts, right? Maybe the coaching plays a little bit into that as well.
Yeah.
But you have all the cap in the world.
All the cap, and that's the big one, too, is they can even bring more people in. More vets, more guys to fill those gaps.
That division's looking really solid next year if the Bears play their cards right. And they got all the equipment they need.
And just to keep this on par with what we're talking about, the Steelers could be in the same position if they make similar moves. Now, the cap issue, how do you fix that? But
Khan's done it in the past, man. Maybe we're underestimating him again.
But I can't see the Steelers ever having $90 million.
No. It was good enough. We had 20 last year. I'm like, holy crap, we're rich.
No, $90 million. No, that's a blue moon right there.
Yeah, really.
My God. We can only hope and dream.
Let's get into the discussion, though. Steelers free agents, the 2023 free agents specifically, man. We're going to go down a list of every single free agent that is planning to hit the market come the 15th, the new league year. And we're going to pretty much discuss each player individually, who we should keep, who we should let go, and our just basic thoughts on the guy and if he returns. We're going to start with Marcus Allen.
No. No.
That was quick. No. Now the locker room cheerleader.
You guys know our feeling on
honest
Marcus
opinion.
Allen,
Yeah,
man.
sorry.
He's nothing more than he's the Steelers' first official cheerleader. I would absolutely let this guy go. He's nothing more than a locker room hype man, and I don't think we need that. There's just no point in that.
Oh, so you're saying he's the modern Steelettes? Is that what the name was
Sure.
for them? Steelettes? I don't know. Somebody correct me.
Sure. Yeah, Marcus Allen. I mean, there's no point in him.
A man that grabs his phone and goes on Instagram Live.
Hey, we just won a
last
game.
year-
Let me grab my phone. Like, what?
No, that's not a Steeler way, man. That's not what this is, and I'm glad some of that culture is being pushed out of the building.
A little bit.
Hopefully for good.
And listen, I get it's a different time, a different era in our generation. I get that, but
And there's other teams that do it, but that's just I don't understand it. I really don't
I'm personally
understand
not a
that
fan of
mentality.
it. I'm not. I'm really not a fan. That's not normally my mentality when you
No.
come for a win. You know, you get ready for the next one.
Yeah, if
Honestly.
you're gonna grab your phone, at least start looking at film or something.
Yeah, really.
Tyson Alualu. I'm surprised this guy hasn't announced his retirement yet.
If he was like 5-6 years younger, absolutely bring him back.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
Listen, he got benched last year for someone they brought in midseason pretty much 2 years ago.
Yeah,
in
Montravius Adams.
So
Montravius Adams.
Alualu's definitely done. I think he ought to just retire.
He's going to be 35, man.
Yeah,
I don't think that's even good enough for Depp. Honestly, I let him walk. I
Yeah.
let him go.
I think that's the plan for sure. Miles Boykin. I would bring him back for depth purposes because of his size and special teams value. He was everywhere on special
Well,
teams.
yeah, if you're gonna think in regards to special teams value, then yeah, and depth. And
Yes.
depth.
I just like his size and special teams area. So,
He reminds me a lot, Boykin does, of Darius Hayward Bay.
yeah.
You know, of his size, his speed, and special teams value. You know, he has a lot of resemblance of Hayward Bay to me.
But I would say only if the contract and the money makes sense for
Of course.
that value.
Probably another 1-year extension. Why not?
Yeah.
Devin Bush. Moving on. Jesse Davis. No, seriously. Devin Bush. No.
Devin
No,
Bush,
that time has sailed.
No.
That time has sailed. He's done. He doesn't even seem interested to come back.
The man is not even 25 yet, and his career is.
He just seems satisfied that he made it to the NFL.
I'm gonna be honest. He's neck and neck with Jarvis Jones for me.
Yeah, he is.
As far as like guys that when the Steelers drafted, I was excited about.
Yep.
Because I'm a linebacker guy. That's always been my favorite position defensively. And with the Steelers, I'm in, such joy being a Steelers fan.
And seeing what we gave up for him, right? Trading up for him, man, and I'm not going to let go of this. He is the biggest disappointment I have encountered.
And listen, at that time, it was a move that the Steelers had to make because Shazier was hurt. His career was in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And we had John Bostic, and he didn't do a damn thing. So it was a move the Steelers had to make, and at the time, it looked like a great move, and his rookie season was spectacular. But he just suffered an ACL injury, and he just never recovered to a point he got benched for a 7th-round raw freaking linebacker and Mark Robinson and Robert Spillane.
Very raw.
Yeah.
He got benched. In 3 games, he only played like a total of like 24 snaps defensively.
Yeah, he's, for me, big disappointment. And again, I put him up there with Jarvis as far as disappointments, not just because linebacker, but players.
Agreed.
In
I
general.
mean, when a former top 10 pick gets benched for a bottom 10 pick, you already know where your career's going. Jesse Davis. He's a guard tackle mix. We traded for him late into preseason last year around roster cuts.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really see much time. He's a little older, too. I know
I say, like, again, if it's any of these guys, if it's depth, sure, make that argument.
Yeah.
But like you just said, we can always upgrade a lot of those positions, man. You know, it depends. It depends on the contract.
A guy like Jesse Davis can be replaced by a prototypical Steelers move. Someone cheap, someone affordable that we can grab in free agency, pretty much picking the scraps after everyone else is gone. So I want to bring him back.
And just based off the tape that we saw late last preseason, he just didn't seem that reliable even as a depth piece, and we hardly saw him even on the field as a Steeler. So I don't know if the effort in bringing it back is even worth it.
Agreed. Now, an effort that is absolutely worth bringing back, Terrell Edmonds.
That is a quick yes for me. Well, as quick as I could get it out.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because he's not a ball hawk, right? We know that. That's established. But he is very consistent in regards to what he is able to bring to the game. Now, safety doesn't necessarily have to be a ball hawk. It doesn't have to be a ball hawk. Right?
No.
he does what he has to do. Now, he's not perfect. He does miss a couple tackles here and there, but every player does.
Yes.
To an extent. Unless you're TJ Watt, then.
Sure. But even at the safety position, yeah, you're going to have missed tackles. You're going to have blown assignments here and there. But Edmonds has really cleaned that up year after year after year. And
I would say he's progressed in a positive way.
yeah, he has.
So, yeah, it's a yes for me. I think he's at the top of my list, believe it or not.
Yeah.
As far as free agent goes. Cam Sutton's right there, but, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, Edmonds is a 100% yes, and it's crazy. You know, a few years ago, Danny, you know, we weren't the biggest fans of Edmonds. You know,
none of us
we
were.
we thought he was a true bust. You know, but as time progressed and we saw him play more on the field and him complimenting Minka Fitzpatrick on the other side, it's like he does his job very well. He fits his role so perfectly.
Agreed. I think he's absolutely worth a nice 3-year extension. Absolutely. And obviously that could lead into his brother coming in a package deal, because I truly do believe wherever one goes, the other will follow. It's just, it's going to happen. There's no way that's not an influence on either guy. Since you just mentioned Cam Sutton, might as well, right?
Yeah.
2 of our top free agents this year, Terrell Edmonds and Cam Sutton. We got to retain them both. It's bad enough the defensive back position is already thin. The corner position is already thin. We only have one reliable starter at the corner position, Levi Wallace. We lose Sutton, cornerback might be the pick at 7. It might even be if we keep Sutton, but especially if we lose Sutton, man.
Yeah.
How can we let this guy go?
It's a matter of who the Steelers are going to pick.
You got to pick both, man. There's got to be a way you sign these two back together. It just has to happen. I don't know how they make it happen, but it has to. Sutton, man, it feels like it'd be another Mike Hilton story. And we can't afford that at the corner position, man.
No. And you've seen the impact that Mike Hilton brought to the Bengals secondary.
Yeah. But Sutton is just, and we've said it countless times, he's one of the few homegrown guys that the Steelers have drafted at that position, and he's been very stellar. He hasn't been number 1. He hasn't been an outside guy all the time, but he's someone that we can trust. He's someone that just plays football, man, that can create turnovers, that's reliable, that's always there. He's versatile. He works with the rotations. I don't see how the Steelers let this guy go unless he gets a higher offer, which is very likely knowing the Steelers situation. But I would hate to see Sutton leave.
Him and Edmonds both, you know, they're key starters on the secondary, key starters at their respective positions. You let both of them walk, you open up 2 holes on that defense. I mean, one's arguably in cornerback, but you got to find a way to keep both.
Yeah.
You can't
Not
let
only
both of them
that,
walk.
I mean, when you think about both of them and the position they play, or any position, doesn't matter what position it is, you get rid of these guys, you're creating holes, but now it's like, if you're going to do that, at least bring somebody in that's either of equal value at a cheaper cost or somebody that's just better. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But again, the Steelers have a unique defense, of course, just like every team does. And so you would have to find guys that kind of match those systems. It's not easy, though.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Especially at the corner position, especially with the Steelers just past in their history there, which, I mean, I trust their progression in that position, especially with who they have in the scouting department and the
coaching.
coaching.
What I just said kind of taps in with everything. I mean, you look at Tremaine Edmonds, for instance, it's like we all want him here. But we need to start thinking about, like, is he going to fit the scheme? You know, like, people throw names out all the time. Like, we keep throwing these names out, even with, like, guys like Cam Sutton. He could go to another team and end up being better on another team than he was here.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen that multiple times in the NFL, not just the Steelers. But
Right.
so that's something I guess we should probably keep in mind as well.
Yeah, definitely. You know, scheme definitely does play an impact on a player's progression, a player's performance on the field. So
It's just a thought, you know. Like,
yeah, it's a good
we
one to throw out there.
We throw names out all the time as far as free agents, but we never actually think, yeah, he's good. Like Tremaine, he was good with the Bills. Is he going to be good with the Steelers, though?
Yeah.
Look at Miles Jack.
Yeah, I mean, again, they go from a 4-3 to a 3-4, and you know, so they play certain different positions in different areas and different roles.
Like you mentioned, you know, the 4-3 defense in Jacksonville, you know, he was the outside linebacker, and then he had to move to inside in the 3-4, and, you know, he just didn't stick out. He wasn't really a helping hand at that position.
They have different roles and responsibilities. Mm-hmm. Now, that's at the linebacker position, but that can even be said for defensive back, especially depending on what type of safety formations they run, the safety assignments, the corner assignments. So, I mean, every secondary is a little different, but I think with the Steelers, they just mashed so well together. I mean, you got to keep them both. I'll even say the same thing about DeMonte Casey. I think
the backup safety.
I think that this is just my personal opinion. You guys may say Ogunjobi and any other guy. I think that the three most important guys for the Steelers to retain are all secondary guys. Tremaine, Sutton, and Casey. I think those are the top three most important guys they have to bring back because we need it for the secondary, we need it for the corner position, and the Steelers love their three safety sets. Casey, when he came back after injury and suspension, man, he rotated so well. He can fit at strong safety in the slot. It matches up Minka well. It matches Terrell well. They can play certain roles, different formations. They can mix things up, and each guy can benefit off each other. I think we got to keep all three of these guys, man. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they can do it, but they have to do it, man. They got to retain Sutton, Edmonds, and Casey all together.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
I would definitely look at Casey as potentially not only a backup plan if Edmonds were to leave and sign with another team.
That could happen.
But, in general, I think he's a guy that you bring back, whether he can be a capable starter at strong safety or as a depth piece, as a versatile piece, since they like to do some three safety sets on the defense right there. And Casey, I mean, we saw last preseason before he got hurt and when he came onto the defense, when he recovered from that injury, what he was on the defense, wherever the ball is, he's there.
I kept noticing popping out of the screen. Like, he's just everywhere. So
he is everywhere. He's a hell of a player. He's very dependable. I definitely try to find a way to bring Casey back. I always like Casey. And I think he would be a great keep for the Steelers.
Agreed. Let's move on, man. Zach Gentry, tight end, man. What a development he's been. What a fun guy he's been to watch, man. One of the guys we got out of the AB trade with the Raiders years back. He's been very fun to watch with his progression. He's still new to the position, but the past 2 years, he's really stood out as a depth guy, as a number 2. I think he's worth bringing back. But the expansion of Connor Hayward, could that prevent that? Now, Hayward's a little smaller in size, so that might mess up him and the blocking aspect. Connor Hayward's more of a vertical threat. You can throw him anywhere and still be a very nice receiving guy. Gentry can also play receiver, but he's more so that big body, 6'9". He can play that blocking.
I think he's the tallest tight end in the league.
He's 6'8".
Or at least he was at one point.
He's 6'8", man. He's a tall guy.
But I would say, for me, bring him back or let him go. I feel like they could upgrade.
They could. Because I feel like blocking tight ends, you can find anyone.
Yeah, because we even looked in some of the draft polls.
Yeah.
There's guys in the beginning rounds and the later rounds.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of, what the Steelers end up doing. I don't think they're going to go early with a tight end again. But
no, but I think they can get a nice possible depth guy, preferably for blocking, anywhere in free agency, anywhere in the draft.
Yeah.
By the way, I just saw, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Ramsey, that whole deal with Dolphins is real.
Is it really?
It's happening.
Wow.
What?
15 minutes ago, Ian Rappaport on Twitter. So
what?
It's not 100% done yet, but it's going that direction.
That's crazy.
So let it begin, folks. Let it begin.
Now, when's the Aaron Rodgers news going to break?
I honestly, I would say in the next 48 hours.
Well,
I would be surprised if it delays any longer than that.
It all depends if he wants to go there. It's all on his call.
A-Rod said himself, it won't be too long.
Exactly.
Although he said that after his dark session therapy.
He's really dragging this out, man.
Oh, that's A-Rod. That's how he is. That's how he was last offseason, for God's sake. When we all thought, maybe the Steelers will look into A-Rod.
Right.
But it didn't happen. So
moving on, man. Let's go with Carl Joseph, former first-round pick for the Raiders, first-round pedigree. Nice depth piece for the past couple years. Unfortunately, an injury really stalled his season last year. They could bring him back on a cheap deal for depth purposes. But I feel like if Casey's back, that kind of writes it off for Joseph. Especially since,
I don't see them bringing both.
No.
Especially if they can they still have Norwood that can play that role. So
Yeah.
I don't see Joseph's career in Pittsburgh being retained. But if he comes back, I wouldn't complain.
No, neither would I.
Cannon in chat says, I'm hearing a second rounder for Ramsey. So
That makes sense with his age and his cap hit.
yeah.
Dolphins, I think, can afford that. Next guy, Larry Ogunjobi.
That one for me is tricky because it's like on one hand, I would love to see him back, but at the same time, it's kind of like, can't we get better?
Yes.
Can we get younger? Can we get better? Can we get faster? Can we get bulkier, I guess, because it's the line.
Well, there's guys in free agency we could pick up, but I don't know. I just get this sense of everyone's forgetting about DeMarvin Leal. We drafted him in the 3rd round last year for a reason. Very similar to Alex Highsmith. Like, he's not here just to be a depth piece. We drafted him to eventually play alongside Hayward. How soon that is, I don't know. It could be this year.
He's a big guy.
He's
a big guy.
He's only going to beef up. He's only going to get bigger and stronger and better. And when he played, he flashed a little bit. I like Ogunjobi. I love when we signed him, and he was definitely visible on that line. He really was, in a good way.
Yep.
But I do feel like with the emergence of Leal, that might prevent the Steelers from not grabbing him or keeping Ogunjobi. See, this is tricky for me, too. Like, I'm half and half. I want to bring him back, but I want to see what Leal's got. I want to go young. I want to go cheap. And I think they can fill defensive line elsewhere. It's all a matter if Ogunjobi wants to stay or not. And I feel like he's been too much of a... He's been floating around the league a little bit, and I don't know why, because he's actually a very good player.
He's a very dependable player at defensive end. And like you said, his play on the field was very evident, especially his run-stopping ability. He's not too effective as a pass rusher. I feel like he's a little inconsistent at that. And, Justin, I agree with you. Maybe we could get better at the end. Leal could be that guy, depending on his development and how quick that goes. But Ogunjobi as a run defender, he's pretty reliable. He's capable. Maybe keep that bond, that duo of Cam and Ogunjobi together, because ever since Tua's retirement, Hayward's just been kind of working with...
He's been a standalone.
Yeah, pretty much, because 1 year it was Chris Wormley, 2 years ago, and then it's just Ogunjobi. Is he going to go to Leal now? Which I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't really seem to have that communication on the other side.
Well, the Steelers also really trust their draft picks. Maybe a little too much, which isn't a problem. You want to invest in the homegrown guys. But I think they're going to invest in a lot in Leal. So, Ogunjobi, his future is really up in the air. But if he goes, it's going to suck. But I'm like, we got Leal. I think we can fill someone in the draft for agency. So,
yeah,
time will tell with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Malik Reed, I think he should be as good as gone. He was a terrible depth piece when he filled in for Watt. He wasn't noticeable on the field. Yeah. Zero impact. No. Zero impact.
I'm not crying or losing sleep.
No.
Anytime soon.
We can absolutely get better. I love that we brought back Quincy Roche. Hopefully his second time around is in good light. Bud Dupree was just released. We're gonna talk about him later because obviously he's gonna be on our wish list. Yeah, Malik Reed is gone.
Yeah, no.
Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph.
Short and sweet. But yeah, Mason Rudolph, man.
Goodbye.
Well, it seems that way, doesn't it?
He's gone, okay? Be a Mason fan you want. I still kind of am. We talked about this last week on the podcast, episode 2. Khan has already confirmed that he wants Mitch to stay. Mitch is here to stay. He loves Mitch. There's no point in bringing Mason back. He has no role with this team no more.
Mason was an everyday,
every game inactive.
Pretty much. Outside of Kenny being hurt. Having a concussion and everything. But
sure, but yeah, he was the third stringer all season, essentially.
He was paid $5 million last year just to sit on the bench, essentially. And I don't think he's a guy that's just going to be wanting to sit on the bench. Yeah. He's going to want to go out there and give it his all. He's going to want to give it a try.
Well, we've seen in interviews and in the past in locker room, this guy's a competitor, man. Like, think of him how you will.
And a professional.
Yeah,
an extreme professional. The amount of questions and times that he was asked, are you interested in being traded? What do you think about potentially being traded?
Or even the Myles Garrett situation, right? Man, this guy's had a very up and down journey in Pittsburgh. Fans have torn him to shreds. He filled in for Ben. We all know his journey, right? But
he never got an opportunity to compete for the starting quarterback role.
And I truly do believe that. But think of him how you will, man. The guy is the epitome of professionalism, man. And wherever he goes, I wish him all the best. I really do.
Yeah, of course.
Mason Rudolph, what a journey. What a time he had. But
I can't see him sticking around. I can't. If there's an opportunity out there, he's going to take it. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, and I wish him all luck in the world, man. I still like Mason. Trent Scott, backup tackle. I think we can also do better. I know our depth is terrible. Our starting lineup is pretty
That's
rough,
the only reason you would keep him.
Yes.
It's going to be a common theme.
But I know we can do better. We can absolutely do better at depth on the line, man. They've been very stingy with their depth, and they need to do a little better, especially if they do plan on running it back, which we all agree is not the way to go, but They need to fill the depth, and Trent Scott should just go, and we should invest a little more to have a pretty much nice, good insurance policy. Benny Snell, football. Do we bring him back?
That's another tricky one, but
Yeah, I mean,
Mike Tomlin loves him.
because you got to think, as of now, outside of the future contracts that we gave to some running backs, I'm sure, we don't have a third running back like that really matters. But, the Steelers like to fill that role. Benny Snell filled that role pretty much last year. And I remember when Najee was hurt a little bit and Warren had that little bit of a scare. And what game was that? Was that the Colts game or something?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Benny Snell came in and he actually ran. It was just one game, but he ran pretty productively.
But so did Anthony McFarland, who got a future reserve contract. So did Master Teague, who came in last year battling for that third spot, right? Showed flashes in preseason.
He did.
Benny Snell, I think, I think he's gone, man. I think his time in Pittsburgh should run out.
And it was,
And if you want to throw in that special teams argument, you could, but we can throw that with anybody.
oh yeah, I mean his role is very limited.
Very.
Yeah.
No question. It's just I don't know, like you don't want to get rid of everybody, but what I'm trying to say is I could see them re-signing him.
I can too.
yeah, so can I.
So
I just don't understand the purpose anymore. Like, just let that ship sail.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind if Benny Snell were to be resigned and be the third stringer.
Yeah.
hey, Pennsylvania Rick, welcome to STN.
Yeah, appreciate it,
Hey,
brother.
thank you. Appreciate it, man.
That is open to all you guys in the chat, man. You guys can be an STN member, which you guys do get exclusive perks such as emojis, which more are coming for the upcoming season and
Absolutely.
the draft. Of course, you guys get early access to videos and stuff like that, the Discord link, all that cool stuff. And more to be added for sure, and giveaways, which we really want to make a thing for the STN members. Robert Spillane. I think we all agree that he's coming back.
I see you laughing over there.
I swear it's not because I've been chiefing all morning.
No, it's the throwback.
Yeah, it's the Robert Spillane.
When he picked off Lamar Jackson. That was a great play by Spillane, though, but since then
He only had two good plays in Pittsburgh.
he has a certain role, and that's as a run stuffer.
This guy is incredibly limited, but I know he's going to come back for a depth piece because Steelers love him, and I actually like him as a depth piece.
As a depth piece, I mean, that's his role, and as a run defender, he's actually pretty good in coverage, though. Oh, my God.
Forget about it.
Oh, my God. He is a liability in coverage.
Yeah, that's his biggest weakness is the coverage.
And
game,
I don't know
so.
why. I don't know why they continue to try to put him in coverage situations when it has not worked. I don't recall seeing many good reps of him in coverage.
No,
At all?
But if the Steelers want to bring him in for obvious rundowns, and they obviously had him as a rotational guy for how many years now?
Or even an occasional blitzer. I mean, that's not a bad role for Spillane.
No, I mean, I don't trust him as a blitzer. I've seen him get laid down by running backs a little too much as a blitzer. But as a run guy, as a gap guy, as a downhill shooter, yeah, that's where his role's at. And on those plays, you bring him in.
Yeah.
I think that's where he fits best, and I think he does get retained in Pittsburgh. Derek Watt. This is another discussion, man, because the Steelers love the bloodlines. And
I forgot to put the one up. There you go.
you failed me, man. You
I'm sorry.
absolutely failed.
sorry.
I'm disappointed.
Hey, if Tremaine signs, there's that second chance. So
We'll see.
I would say this in regards to Watt. Do you guys think that Connor and chat? You guys can jump in these conversations too.
Yes.
Do you think Connor's fullback or is he going to stick to tight end?
see, well, the
That's
answer
a
to that,
good
I think,
discussion.
I think he can play both. I think he's more than capable of playing both. He's versatile for a guy of his size. He can block, he can catch, he can run.
Honestly, I think the Steelers could save by having him play both.
They can. And I think he
They
needs to
really
have an
could.
expanded role in the offense.
That would help him then.
He's that good. He is that reliable, man. I think they're going to keep him at tight end. I would love to be creative and save a roster spot and pretty much fill two holes with one guy because he can do that. But I don't know. Because of the bloodlines, they really got him involved last year, did they, with Derek Watt?
More so than his first, few years
Yeah,
here.
compared to his first 2 years, I mean,
Yeah.
he was just a special teams guy. But last year, I mean, Matt Canada, for once, finally got him involved in some situations, inches situations. He gave it to him. He caught the passes here and there.
It came from the fact that the Steelers started running the ball a lot more than when Ben was really running the show.
Yeah.
One thing I'll never forget, though, about Derek Watt is he got the only touchdown for us versus the Eagles. And who threw that touchdown?
Oh, my God.
And who threw that touchdown pass? Chase Claypool.
I didn't know that. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. But
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think Connor Hayward could absolutely fill the Derek Watt role, but if he comes back, I'm not going to bat an eye. I mean,
No.
well, we'll see what they do. I mean, he's been reliable, so I mean, they really like Watt. They love the bloodlines. I think they'll keep him.
Yeah.
Chris Wormley. He's been a very solid depth guy. We traded him from the Ravens a couple off seasons ago. Do we? I don't know. See, he's just, like
No.
he doesn't do much. He's a very good depth guy. He's very good quality.
Yeah.
But like,
And
I don't know.
In some instances, he shows flashes of a capable starter, like that one year when he had to fill in when Tuitt was out for the year due to his situation.
But with Adams and Loudermilk as the depth guys, do they keep Wormley? I mean, they can trust Wormley. They like Wormley. He's adapted to Steeler culture. But is it worth bringing him back? I don't know.
No, I'm saying no, man.
Personally, I like Loudermilk. And
Honestly, I want to see more of Loudermilk. Let's not
It's-
forget they did trade back into the fifth to get this guy when he was
Yeah.
a projected undrafted free agent.
it's nothing against Wormley. It's just I think we have certain depth guys that could take his role.
And I think it really depends too on what they decide to do with Larry Ogunjobi at the same time.
Yeah, it does.
Because you still got Leo on the contract, you still have Loudermilk. I think it really depends about Wormley's situation if they decide to re-sign Ogunjobi or if they want to go with Wormley and maybe have potentially Leo and Wormley fight it off for the other side,
Right.
alongside Hayward.
Moving.
I could see something like that.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I did notice we do have a couple defensive ends on the free agency side as well. Restricted free agents, man. J.C. Hasenauer, he should be back.
Yeah, you don't want to get rid of everybody from the depth on the line.
No, I mean, Steelers love him. He's reliable at center, guard. He's the perfect quintessential Steelers interior depth guy.
Yeah.
Bring him back. Jeremy McNichols, he might be back. I'm surprised he didn't get a future reserve contract. But
Now his stint with Pittsburgh was short-lived when he got injured within the first week of training camp.
yeah,
So I don't really see him sticking around, to be honest.
I think Anthony McFarland can just take that number 3 role. I think he's deserving.
Yeah,
I think he's worked hard enough to get it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
James Pierre, I would absolutely bring this guy back. I'd cut Witherspoon, cut my losses with him, bring Pierre back. I know he's reliable. Steelers like him a lot. He's been very dependable in relief when he's had to start a game or two. He's a special teams guy. He's perfect. He's the perfect depth guy at corner. And with the number in cornerback getting low, you don't want that. I'd bring him back. I think he's reliable. I think he's decent. Is he inconsistent? Yes, but that's why he's a depth guy. I'd absolutely bring Pierre back. If I could bring Sutton and Pierre back, I'm absolutely doing it. 100%.
Yeah.
Steven Sims.
That's a yes for me, only because I just like him on the special teams, and he's a good guy to kind of shake things up in a game. So
Yeah. I mean, he filled in that Claypool role pretty nicely in the slot, but obviously filled in when Gunner was making mistakes at the return game. And Sims, man, like he shows explosion. Speedy, he can put him anywhere, and he'll just make a play. So
And he's also been working alongside George Pickens and Deontay Johnson with Kenny Pickett down in Florida, I believe. So that kind of gives me some hope that Sims does stick around with Pittsburgh, and I think he will, and I think he should.
I would absolutely bring him back.
Yeah.
I think he's deserving. Give him some competition, obviously. I think that's what Anthony Miller and Calvin Austin are going to be for.
Or if they're going to continue to keep Gunnar Olszewski, then, that's his competition at the same time, too. But I 100% bring Steven Sims back.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think they'll do it for the Steelers for agents, man. But I think the guys we need to prioritize the most is Edmonds, Sutton, and Casey, most importantly for me. Most importantly
I can see that. I can see why you say that. I don't disagree. I would definitely argue to put Ogunjobi in there because I think he's a reliable run defender. I feel like him and Cam could have more chemistry to build on that defensive line. But with Leal's potential growth and surgence on his career on the defensive line, I could see Ogunjobi potentially go to another team.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I definitely have to agree.
He'll find a spot.
Yeah.
And for depth purposes, mostly Sims, Pierre, and Hasenauer mostly. And I'll even throw in Spillane.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Absolutely. That's how we feel. Chad, how you feeling, man? Keep Sims, get rid of Gunner. I would too. I mean, we'd save $2 million cutting Gunner. It's not a lot, but
I think that'll happen because they're gonna have to really find spots, and that makes sense.
yeah,
You know,
it really does. Man, Gunner is really, really Ryan Switzer 2.0. Who remembers him?
I think in respect to both players, no disrespect, I promise. I think Ryan. Yeah, I think he's better.
Really?
Switzer?
I do. I think he's better than Gunner. I swear, bro. It's not just because
I look back at when Switzer did play, and when he was
You don't think
when
so?
he was a capable target for Ben. You know Ben and Switzer did have that chemistry there. They're even good friends in real life
And that's kind of what I'm basing
off
it
the
on.
field.
That's what I'm basing it
But
on.
there was that 1 year when Switzer first came in. I always liked Switzer coming out of North Carolina, and I was kind of hoping that he was taken by the Steelers in the draft. Obviously, it didn't happen, but they did trade for him when he was a Raider at the time. And he showed some flashes in his first year, but then the second year came, and he just didn't live up to it. He was making mistakes. He wasn't a caliber special teams guy. He wasn't even a good wide receiver there, and he just never stuck around.
No, that was disappointing for me. I really like Switzer coming out
But
of North
I
Carolina.
don't really see Gunner as a reliable receiver. And I know he doesn't have much experience at that position either because he was a corner, I believe, before switching to receiver when he was with the Patriots. But I probably have to agree. I think Switzer overall is the better player, the better athlete.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion.
Breaking news, as you guys already know, but 15 minutes ago, Schefter did confirm the trade is now agreed to and will be official come Wednesday. The Dolphins have traded for Jalen Ramsey. This is live breaking news, man. This is crazy. The Rams get a 2023 third-round pick, which is the 77th overall, and Hunter Long, tight end. That's it.
That's not a bad trade for the Dolphins.
Because the Rams get rid of the cap hit that Ramsey would take over, and they're pretty much rebuilding, let's be honest.
Yeah.
While the Dolphins, they're trying to strike now. They are.
Yeah.
And they don't trade a lot. They trade a depth piece and a third-round pick. Dolphins are building.
And the
man.
Dolphins that made moves, like they released Byron Jones to create that cap, and they restructured Tyreek Hill's contract, so they made all the money in the world.
So this is their secondary, man. They got Ramsey, they got Javon Holland, they got, what's his face, Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
Wow, that is one hell of a secondary.
Don't forget they traded for Bradley Chubb.
They did.
Tua's going to be coming back healthier.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Wild just had 1,000-yard seasons. Two of the fastest receivers in the NFL.
Maybe the Dolphins actually get a capable running back.
I think they
for
go
them.
running back, man. I
They
think they go
may.
running back.
Like the Dolphins, I mean, they making moves. They're making the right moves. They're doing what they can because they are in win
I ain't
now.
gonna lie, that looks pretty. Ramsey in a Dolphins uniform?
He's back
Kinda spicy.
He's back in Florida. Yeah,
Yeah, that's where he went to college. Wow, that is.
Nah, I
nuts.
don't mean just that. He was a Jaguar.
I know that.
By the way, shout out to Ryan here in chat. $5 says ready for the March Madness selection show late today and the Penguins game.
Yeah.
Who do the Penguins play today? That's a good question.
Let me look on my phone. I have it on the.
Well, they had a nice dub. Was it yesterday? A couple days ago?
Yeah, they beat the Flyers 5-1 yesterday.
Where it was on here.
Oh, by the way, the Dolphins have Vic Fangio as their DC, which is a hell of an ad. So
Yeah, it
they're,
is.
They're going. They're going places. If the quarterback situation can get cleaned up and they can protect Tua, yeah, they're going places. They are absolutely going somewhere. So good on the Dolphins, man.
Yeah, the Penguins play today at 4 against the Rangers.
The Rangers.
Oh,
Yeah.
that should
They
be- that
just
should be-
beat the Flyers. I
Yeah.
believe. What was that? 5 to
5-1. They dismantled them.
Yeah, and their unis too.
The issue with them has been inconsistency. So I can't wait to get back to talking about Penguins too at some point, man.
Definitely.
Might come up with a separate podcast.
I mean, playoffs are coming upon. I think the Bruins just clinched a playoff berth, if I'm not mistaken. So
So what we got next, man? We'll be talking next.
Steelers free agency wish list.
Oh.
That's all we can talk about, man. I mean, moves are being made around the NFL. Steelers are, taking their damn time, but that doesn't mean we can't think of guys that we want the Steelers to bring in and sign with the team and be upgrades at positions of need, which is the obvious. But we
Yeah.
gotta also talk about other areas, which has been receiver. We need more power. We need more weapons. But most importantly, we need a veteran presence. We need a leader. Okay? Nothing against Deontay. I don't think he's that leader type because he's still young himself. We need a vet guy, man. We need someone that can come in very much like a Jericho Cotchery or who remembers a Lance Moore.
So basically, you're saying we need Addison.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
No.
17 or 32, Dan.
32 if we fill all the damn holes we need to fill. What I'm saying is we need a Jericho Cotchery, we need a Lance Moore, we need a Darius Hayward Bay type figure. Okay? Stop laughing. That's not funny.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, who do you have in mind? I'll let you go first.
All right, the first name that comes to mind is obviously Jarvis Landry, right? Experienced guy, former Dolphins, Saint, Brown. You know, I mean, I think he'd fill in very nicely in the slot. Very reliable, great hands. At this point in his career, he will just be a slot guy, veteran presence.
Number 3 receiver at this moment.
Exactly, like he was for the Saints last year. Of course, he had a couple injuries here and there, which he's been suffering the last couple of years, which is a concern. But I think he'd be a nice 1-year guy for, 5-6 years max, which might be a little hefty, but that's the league minimum. I think he's worth that. Why not? You know, someone we could trust, someone with good hands, someone reliable. A guy that they could very well go under the radar for if they want some extra power, if they want size, if they want speed, if they want reliability. Zach Pascal, right? Former Colt. He played for the Eagles this past year. He was a very underrated target. Now, the Eagles were just too stacked offensively. So
that entire offense was... Both sides of the ball were stacked.
Dirty.
It was crazy.
The defense was stacked. It was ridiculous.
I know. But this guy, man, is he went under the radar because of how stacked their offense was in terms of weapons. And he's still, I mean, he's got some flashiness to him. Great hands. He's a great blocker, the size, the speed. I think he's everything the Steelers could use for. He has that veteran presence to him a little bit. He's been in the league a couple years. I think he'd be a nice slot weapon, man. He's got the size in the slot for sure. I think that's a mismatch himself.
Yeah.
I'm also going to throw his name out there. Randall Cobb. Now, I don't know what he wants to do in the NFL anymore. He could be contemplating retirement. He's been tossed around a little bit. He was just reunited with A-Rod for 1 year. Now, A-Rod's probably going to be on his way out. What does Randall Cobb want in his NFL career right now? He's achieved almost everything he could want to achieve. Does he want to go to a young guy like Pickett? Does he want to go to a team like Pittsburgh? Does he want to mentor other guys? If he does, where? Pittsburgh's the perfect spot because of look how young we are at the position.
Of course.
I think he'd be a great fill-in, man.
Now, I think he's still, for his age, because he's 32 years old, I think he's still a capable slot option, a depth piece, and definitely, without a doubt, a leader.
Yes, 100%. I just think we need that veteran presence at the receiver position, man.
I think that's very important. I think that really matters because we have not had that since the names you listed, Cotchery, Moore, Hines Ward.
Yes.
But, I feel like these receivers need that. I think they need to understand how much it means.
Yeah, and of course the chat's throwing out Adam Thielen. I would love Adam Thielen. The guy's underrated. What a story he's been, man. I mean, I love Thielen. He'd be perfect in the slot. How much he wants, I don't know. He's still worth enough to make an impact in the cap room and on offense.
Even for him being 33 years old, he's probably going to want a pretty penny. He's probably going to get a pretty penny.
Thielen would be phenomenal. Like, I would mark out if we could have Thielen. I know he's not going to be here long, but I think he'd be a great weapon for Kenny. Absolutely. But I just don't know how much we can afford with Thielen. So I went with some guys that are relatively known, but kind of young, kind of cheap. It has that veteran aspect to him. So that's why I went with Landry, Cobb, and Pascal. Do you have any guys to add?
Yeah, I included Cobb and Landry. I do agree with those, but I added 2 different guys at the wide receiver position. One of them is Marvin Jones of the Jaguars.
Okay.
32 years old. He's 6'2", 199. He was a capable target for Trevor Lawrence for his first 2 years in the league, but especially last year when he was mainly the number 3 because of Christian Kirk and Zay Jones' resurgence with the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones just has that leadership. He's been around the league as he was a Bengal and a Lion. And, of course, a Jaguar. He's dependable. He's reliable. He's still pretty quick for his age. I think he's the perfect slot guy, and he's the perfect guy to have in the locker room.
If there's a position we want to go a little older for depth and veteran purposes, it would be receiver because I think they need it. I think they need maturing. I think they need that piece in there. It's something we've lacked in that room for a while.
Yeah, and as far as like going young, if they're going to draft a wide receiver, Addison would have to be the guy because of all the connections everyone's been making.
Yeah.
We agree, the 3 of us together, that shouldn't be a move for them. But I agree. I think they need to go get a veteran guy, a guy that's been around a little bit in the league.
It's what the receiver room needs and has lacked for a while. So we'll see what the Steelers do. But
yeah,
I think this Addison news is just really it might blind them from doing a move like that. Hopefully that doesn't blind them from addressing offensive tackle, not only in the draft but free agency.
But to be clear, if they went Addison, I'm not crying or getting upset
No.
or anything. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, for sure. Offensive tackle. There is a chance they do keep Dan Moore and Chucks as their guys. They run it all back, or maybe they just want competition. Maybe they do feel, hey, Jones, Johnson, and Skoronski, they're all not going to be there. Maybe they have already went through that scenario and are like, hey, this isn't looking likely. So they address it in the offseason via free agency. If they want to bring in competition, if they want to bring in a solid starter, or if they want to bring in an extra depth piece, right? I'm trying to blanket every single scenario here, whether it's an upgrade, competition, or just depth. And for the first one, I went Andre Dillard, man, former first-round pick for the Eagles. He has that Andy Waddle connection, so he could bring him in. That could sway in Dillard to come in. I know Waddle might have an eye on him in free agency. He really didn't have much of a career in Philly because, he was a first-rounder and it kind of had a rocky start. He eventually got benched for Joy Mailata, who was a converted football player. I think he used to play rugby or something.
Yeah, it doesn't help, too, that Dillard, had a handful of injuries at the same time.
He did. But if they want to bring him in as depth, as a young guy, potentially competition, if they do want to keep Dan Moore, he could be competition for Dan Moore. I would like that. I think the Waddle connection might attract him to bring in Dillard, so we'll see. If they want to make a relatively very nice splash, if they truly want to fix the line, if they want to upgrade it and get someone with pedigree, with dominance and reliability, and like I said, make a nice splash, Mike McGlinchey, absolutely. He's one of the 49ers free agents. 49ers got a lot of free agents coming up. This guy probably tops the chart, all that. If they really want to make a big move, man, at the position, they want to move Chucks back to left. We're for that if they bring in a guy like McGlinchey. Yeah. I think that'd be great. I think that's the splash we need at tackle, and I think that'd fill our problems for sure. I'm also going to go with a depth piece here, though. Cameron Fleming, man, former Bronco. He played for the Broncos last year, and this is more so of a depth piece that can come in for relief, or if he has to start a game or two. He's a swing guy. He has experience there, which the Steelers adore in their backup tackles. So I think this guy brings veteranship, the swing ability. He's a decent starter, nice fill-in, good depth piece. They could bring him in as that for sure. I'm also going to throw in a reunion, Chris Hubbard. Why not? You guys are probably thinking, oh, Kelvin Beachum. I'll go Chris Hubbard, man. Why not Chris Hubbard? He's that guard tackle mix. Steelers love him.
I think Beacham's too old. Man.
He is.
He's too old at this point.
He is.
No.
Hubbard, I think Thomas still loves him enough that he could draw him back in. But for offensive tackle, those are names I'm gonna target. But I do hope for a guy like McGlinchey. That'd be a great splash.
Yeah, McGlinchey, he's a big dude, 6'8", 310. He's 28 years old, so he's still kind of young at the tackle position. But he's a former first rounder. I think he's a former top 5 pick, if I'm not mistaken. He was a very reliable right tackle. A good run blocker, pass protector for whoever the quarterback was, honestly, for the 49ers. But McGlinchey would be a hell of an ad. I think it'd be a big splash. I think another underrated one is Caleb McGarry out of the Falcons for right tackle. He had a big resurgence last year with Arthur Smith and how he was as a run blocker. His pass protection could be a bit better, I will admit, but McGarry definitely had a big year last year. I think he's in for a decent contract. The Steelers could definitely be a team that could be interested in him. This is all, of course, if they are interested in moving Chucks back to left tackle, to which he is capable of playing that position. But McGlinchey, McGarry for right tackle in free agency, if they want to fix that hole, I think those are two names to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think those are upgrades at right tackle for sure. Very solid splashes, guys with pedigree, and guys that just absolutely work in the run game for sure. I mean, they've really helped attack that run blocking for each team. And, of course, we've seen the past couple of years, the teams like the Niners, like the Falcons have had, I don't want to say depth pieces, but more so fill-in stars, guys like Patterson and the guy from the Falcons this past year, right? He had 1,000 yards as a rookie.
Algier.
Thank you. I mean, the Niners, they're revolving door running backs. They keep succeeding there, right? Before they got McCaffrey. I think those would be great upgrades. But if they want to go depth pieces, we also throw in guys like Fleming and Hubbard. So,
of course.
Offensive guard, which I think we all agree is a must grab for the Steelers. If there's one position on the offensive line I truly hope they attack, in free agency, and I've been saying this for months, is left guard specifically.
Yeah, left guard is probably the most important out of the two sides.
Yeah.
Because the right guard positions, I wouldn't say 100%. The entire line's not 100%, to be clear.
No.
I'm glad they were healthy. That was awesome. It's almost like a unicorn at this point, especially with the Steelers.
Yeah.
But the positions, all of them, even center, any of them can be upgraded.
They are.
But no position more than left tackle and left guard.
Yeah, and I think left tackle is just it can be fixed in the draft. I mean, if you hope for any of the guys to be there at 17.
It depends, though.
It does.
At this point.
But I think the value at offensive guard and free agency is much greater than the draft, which is why I suggest they fix it there. I have only 3 names to mention because they're young, they're reliable, they have starting experience, and they're guys that could be decent splashes, man. Dalton Risner, we talked about in episode 1, would love him from the Broncos. He's been decent for the Broncos, and just everything we need in a left guard, for sure an upgrade. You mentioned Ben Powers of the Ravens.
And
he'd be great.
And those are 2 guys I have on my list. Those are 2 guys I'm really looking at when it comes to guard and free agency because they're pure left guards, and that's something that has been – you even mentioned it, Justin, I think last week, that one of the problems with the offensive line is the fact that they keep switching positions, having to learn those positions. I mean, Kevin Dotson, I feel like
they're plugging guys in different places and trying to fill those gaps instead of actually – getting guys that play those positions naturally.
Yes.
And have been for a while.
Yeah, I remember Kevin Dotson in his rookie year. He was a right guard when DeCastro was hurt. He filled that role tremendously, but then they tried to sign him to left guard. He hasn't been the same.
No.
I don't think he'll ever recover.
And who could forget Kendrick Green last year going from center to left? In fact, I want to forget that.
My man was having birthday parties every game.
Oh, my God.
Getting pancaked and caked and thrown on the ground and ran over.
This man was a high school wrestler, man.
Bro.
He didn't look like it on the football field.
I couldn't tell. Wow. I'm gonna throw this name out there for depth purposes. Now, like we said about the Steelers free agents, we think they keep Hasenauer, but for extra depth and for the swing possibility and for the Andy Waddle connection, I'm gonna go with a former Eagle here. He was with the Jets last year. Nate Herbig, man, he's filled in as a starter a couple years for the Eagles and for the Jets last year, but he can play both guard positions. He's young. I think he's still only 25 years old. Like I said, the Waddle connection. He's cheap. For depth purposes, I think he's filling very nicely.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad option either, when you want to look at a depth prospect.
And the Steelers love bloodlines, and his brother Nick is entering the draft from Wisconsin.
That's right. Yeah, he's one of them splashy defensive ends, or edge rushers specifically.
Yeah.
But
little undersized, but you are absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like for a left guard, definitely has to be a position they have to at least look at in free agency. I feel like Risner and Powers, they're pure left guards. They're dependable. They're great starters, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they got to look at them.
That's it for the offensive side that I can think of. I mean, you could throw in a tight end here and there, but we already discussed it with Hayward.
If they're going tight end, I'd rather them draft one.
Yeah.
Because like what we mentioned earlier, it's like corner. It's kind of deep.
And I'm not looking at tight end as like, oh, my God, we got to address it.
Hell
No, not anymore.
No.
Although it came at a cost.
No.
I hate to bring that up. I'm sorry.
Yes, it came at a cost, but we all love Muth here. Let's transition to the defense. We got a lot to talk about here. More so names on the defense and offense for free agency wish list here. Defensive line, man, probably has the most names I've listed of any position here because I mean, it's stacked. It's like linebacker and free agency. They have to make a splash there, right? They have to. The names are endless. Of course, Javon Hargrave. A Steelers reunion would be most welcome to all of us. I know he's 30, and that doesn't really sit well in the age category, but the guy's like Hayward, man. He ages like fine wine. He's coming off a career year. We never should have gotten rid of this guy. Never. And now that we have the opportunity to get him back, I would love for us to sign him back. Obviously, it would come at a big cost, a greater cost than what we could have got him back for originally, but
yeah, he's one of the top, if not the top free agent right now.
He could hit $20 million. I'm not saying he will, but it could peak there. He's going to get a big payday, man. He's going to get a much bigger bag than he did the first time, which he's more than well-deserved. We all love the Gravedigger. A Steelers reunion would be more welcome, man. He fits just perfect in our system alongside Hayward. I'd love a reunion.
Yeah.
But
I think we all would.
Ultimately, I don't think that's going to happen. He's still going to be on my wish list regardless.
Yeah.
A guy that they could fill in and someone that is a reliable starter and is just a beefy dude. This guy's a mauler. This guy's a gap filler, man. Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't say that just because he has Tomlin in his name. Dalvin Tomlinson is a very good football player, very good defensive lineman. Another free agent for the Vikings, man. I mean, Vikings already have a lot of free agents. They already cut a couple guys.
Yeah, they did. But Tomlinson, when you look back at the Vikings season, their secondary was very bad. But their run defense was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the best ranked in the NFL. And Tomlinson was a big reason because of that.
Yeah. Former Giant and then a Viking, and, he continues to rise his name. Very underrated at his position, is he? I think he'd be a great guy. I think he'd be a good, great sign.
Yeah, fill that gap, close that hole, stop the run. That's what we need. That's what we've been trying to fix since Hargrave actually left.
Now, if the Steelers want to fill in guys for starting wise or for depth purposes or just to be like a 2-down guy if necessary or for obvious rundowns, right? They could bring in a guy like Kalen Sanders, right? Another big guy, a little undersized, but still a gap filler. He did well for the Chiefs. He was very visible on that defensive line. He's someone cheap. He's still someone very young they could bring in. I always liked him coming out of college, so him being a free agent, they could target him. Same thing with a Shy Tuttle, another guy for the Saints. They could bring him in. This guy's never going to escape me, Andrew Billings. He's just not.
Hey, he was a Tomlin guy before, the Bengals came and
Yeah, let's not forget he actually
stole him.
let's not forget throughout that draft process in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, he actually had a private dinner with not only Mike Tomlin but Mean Joe Green.
But here's the thing, though. He's been a free agent a couple times, and the Steelers never targeted him. But his name I can't escape him. I don't know why. I still like Billings, and he did very well for the Raiders last year in limited reps. I'd like to bring him in. If they want to put him in as a 2-down guy, as a starter initially, I'm cool with that. For depth, absolutely. Especially with how many free agents we're going to have on the defensive line. He's a guy we could bring in. He obviously has that Steeler connection from the draft process. So I'd love to bring him in. I just can't escape the guy, man. But if they want to fill in defensive end, say Ogunjobi doesn't go, if they don't think Leal is ready enough or they want competition for Leal, they could grab a guy like Zach Allen. Now, his injuries have kind of stalled his progression and his stats a little bit. But for the Cardinals, man, he's alongside Watt and them. He's done very well, and he's still very young. Zach Allen will be a pretty decent splash and someone that could be alongside Hayward and fill in very nicely. His injuries concern me, but I think he has the body and the play style that would fit nicely.
Yeah, for sure. And he's only going to get better, in my honest opinion. He's still only 25 years old, so he's still very young. Year by year, he has been getting better with Arizona. He was a big part of that defensive line of not only their pass rush here and there, but definitely their run defense.
5.5 sacks last year.
Getting a guy like Zach Allen, I feel like would definitely fix a hole right there for sure.
Yeah, I feel the same thing for a guy like this guy's going under the radar, John Kaminsky of the Lions. Now, former Falcon, I believe, and last year, I mean, he fit like a glove with the Lions because you see the Lions changing their culture and the way they're moving around their team with Dan Campbell as head coach. This guy just fits there, and I would be very shocked if he's not retained by the Lions. But if he's not, 27 years old, I mean, I think he could fill in nicely. Here's the thing with him. His progression's been up and down because he's been tossed everywhere on that line, different alignments and assignments and responsibilities. I think alongside Cam, I think he could fill in nicely. Competition potentially for Leal or maybe even Ogunjobi, but for depth purposes, pretty much fill in that Wormley role. But I think he could build upon that. I think this guy's a sleeper and could be a nice addition for anybody.
He showcased that here and there with Detroit, so he could do that, wherever he goes to next.
Yeah.
For sure. I do want to throw out one more name since I have him listed down here on defensive tackle, and he's a guy that has first round pedigree, can't talk.
Yeah.
And he was a big part of that Jets defense last year. His name is Sheldon Rankins. He was a Saint. He was drafted by the Saints in the first round. He was a big part of that Saints defense within Drew Brees' last couple years with New Orleans. And he went to the Jets on a I think it was a 2-year contract. And year by year, he's had solid years. Him being alongside Quentin Williams with the Jets, stopping their run, being a decent, effective pass rusher. My only concern with him, honestly, is his injury concern.
Yeah.
Because even with the Saints and the Jets, he has a bit of injury concern. That is a little bit worrisome. But Sheldon Rankins, he's still 28. He's not that old. He's a pretty effective defensive lineman. I feel like with his experience as a number one previously with the Saints, and even at times with the Jets, I feel like he's a guy that could be somebody to look after in free agency.
Well, defensive line is they got names they could absolutely snag anywhere, which obviously is still a big concern for the Steelers. So whatever responsibility they want to fill, whether that's depth, whether that's a starter beside Hayward or at D tackle, they could fill that. They could do that in the draft as well. And knowing how Waddle has done with that position in years past with his resume and his track record, I mean, I think they're going to snag someone nice at the position. It's just a matter of where. But
Yeah.
if they want to add flexibility to the draft process, they could do it in free agency, and they got guys to select anywhere for sure. Same thing is said for linebacker, inside linebacker to be more specific, because we only have Jack and Robinson.
I can tell you who's at the top of my list.
We all agree.
Yeah.
Tremaine Edmonds.
The bloodline.
Yeah, see, I got it right that time.
Listen, man.
Tremaine Edmonds, man, I mean, you stated earlier, wherever one brother goes, the other, I feel like, is bound to go.
He's going to follow.
With the same team.
That is absolutely an influence, and you can't tell me otherwise. Come on. They're hitting the mark at the same time, the same year. It's got to happen.
That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a possibility for both of them to finally truly be together on the same team. And the Steelers are definitely a top team to have that connection happen because they love the bloodline. It's like a destiny almost, really.
Tremaine Edmonds, out of everyone that we're going to list here, is probably the most realistic because of that Edmonds connection. Because, I mean, I just feel like it has to happen. If you bring Terrell back, you have to bring in Tremaine. You just do.
Or at least you got to make a very good attempt at doing so.
Yes.
If you're the Steelers.
Now, to do that, they got to create cap space, which they haven't really done much. But
no, it's been quiet.
Yeah. Hopefully that changes, because a guy like Edmonds, I think he's gonna get a lot of offers, and he's gonna go through all of them. He's gonna think about all of them. But I think if Terrell gets the same offer from the same team, they're gonna go. But the Steelers got to be one of those teams, man.
Yeah.
Tremaine's obviously going to be at the top of our wish list, not only at the linebacker position, but of any position.
Any position.
And the thing is, he could still get better. He's only 24. He's only a couple months older than Devin Bush.
And I know everyone's throwing out like $20 million a year for. I don't think he's going to get that. I think he's going to get somewhere around 13 to 15, which is still pretty hefty at the position, but in today's market, I mean, you kind of have to. But at 24, 25 years old, it's got a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, 20 million, I feel like is a little excessive right there, honestly.
Yeah.
But Tremaine to be a Steeler, I mean, that's a big possibility. That's what we all love. I think another name that us Steelers fans would like, and he comes from a rival in the Bengals, is Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah, you mentioned that in episode 1.
Yeah, that's another guy that I'd like to see with the team. To be honest with you.
Because, I mean, the Bengals are hitting a roadblock like many other teams, like the Eagles, like all these other teams where they have so many guys to prioritize. One guy's going to be the odd man out. Pratt could be one of them, man. You know, one of the homegrown guys for the Bengals in that building defense, and he's coming off a career year.
Yeah.
And we always liked him coming out of NC State, so why not bring him in to play the inside linebacker role? He has what we need. He has everything that we want in the position. Alongside Jack, I think they'd mix well together. So I would love Jermaine Pratt. He's still young. And again, not very flashy, but plays his role very good.
Very, very good.
I've always kept my eye on Pratt, even when we were playing the Bengals. I always kept my eye on him because I always liked him. He's always one of my guys.
Yep.
Now, if we don't land one of those guys, we could go someone very underrated, very young, very cheap, and someone that's played alongside great pedigree at the linebacker position for the Niners, Azeez Al-Shaair.
Yeah.
I really like this guy. He's got everything we need. Speed, athleticism, smarts. He can play. I mean, he comes from a great background and a great coaching staff, and the guy he's worked around, I feel like him in Pittsburgh would just be perfect.
Yeah.
Because he adapts such a strong head and a strong confidence at the position that we really need. I mean, he was around how many great defensive coordinators, how much great talent for the Niners.
Yeah.
Pairing him in Pittsburgh, man, he's going to bring that level of competition, of competitiveness.
Yeah.
We need that at the linebacker position. I'm tired of these very stiff, lazy linebackers. That's how
limited.
That's how much
honestly.
I can put it.
Or just complacency, especially when you hear what Bush said. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the NFL regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a top 10 draft pick. I got nothing to prove. That's literally what he said.
Seeing the caliber of excellence that Shaair's been around.
Dude, imagine being that way, though. Just so complacent that
I don't
you're
understand it.
Oh, man, I'm good regardless. Like, I've had so much success in my career but I've never felt like, oh, man, I've done it all.
So you're telling me your uncle is Derek Brooks and your dad played for the NFL, right? You
And won a Super Bowl with the Rams.
You have a bloodline of football career, right? And you're just happy, hey, I made it. Like, what?
It's like ever since he cut that rat tail, he's just been a completely Devin Bush. Maybe he needs to grow that back. Maybe the old Devin Bush will come back. I don't know.
See, I think Shire's the opposite. Like, the mentality is the opposite. There's no way he's
especially
around.
the guys that he played under and Fred
That's what I'm
Warren
saying.
and Dre Greenlaw, the defensive coordinators. I mean,
The level of minds he was around, he's going to adapt that. That's what we need, man.
and you bring a guy like him in to have him be not a project, but for Aaron Curry, our new inside linebackers coach, to work with him, a guy that's still young, that is a huge sleeper in free agency, to work like that, getting him in there at inside linebacker. Al Shire could be something truly special.
Agreed. I'll throw this name out there because everyone keeps throwing it out there. TJ Edwards, Eagles free agent. Undrafted linebacker, rose his way into the starting lineup and was very stellar for that front seven of the Eagles, man. Their linebacker position was very quiet in terms of names, but they played hard. Yeah. Guys like him and Kaiser White. Nakobe Dean, right? Nakobe Dean was a bench warmer because of guys like Edwards and White. I mean, that's how good they played. My only concern with Edwards is his speed, man. If he was faster, I'd absolutely give him an empty check. But his speed concerns me. But that's also not going to draw me away completely from not signing this guy. I love Edwards.
Yeah.
Another guy, like someone young, someone underrated, someone that's been building their name through a rough defense, David Long from the Titans. I think he'd be nice. I think he's young. He's got the speed and the coverage ability. He's good in the run game. And I think he could fill in nicely. He looks like and sounds like a prototypical Steelers signing. He's someone that you don't really hear from about, someone you're not very familiar with, but someone that could come in and be a nice splash.
Yeah. Could be, yeah.
I'm also going to say this last player for linebacker, and believe me, linebacker is stacked for free agency. They can go anywhere. And I'm not going to mention any free agent veteran names like a Bobby Wagner or an Eric Kendricks or guys like that.
No, those guys are just too old at this point, you know?
And I'm tired of linebacker just being a revolving door of mid-season trades or one-year rentals. It's that we got to stop that. We got to stop. We got to grab someone young, someone that can fill the position for years. A James Ferrier like maneuver.
Yeah.
So just that's how I feel about the linebacker position. I'll go Bobby Okereke. He worked alongside
the Colts, yeah.
He worked alongside Darius or now Shaq Leonard.
Well, even when Shaq Leonard was hurt last year, Okereke had to step up big time and take his role, and I feel like he did his job very well. You know, the Colts season was really chaotic last year, but when you look on that defensive side, Okereke was a guy that stood out. He's a hell of a run defender. He's not terrible in coverage. He may be a little consistent here and there, but I think I trust him better than anybody else on this team in this inside linebacker group, to be honest with you. Okereke would be a nice sleeper, an underrated name for the Steelers to potentially bring in. I think he's very deserving of a potential number one spot for any team.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, he's always been underrated, but stood out every time he watched a Colts game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll throw this name out there, but I think because of his injury history, it's not really going to lead him anywhere outside of a depth piece, which is what his career has been ever since going to Dallas. Leighton Vander Esch from Boise State. Love the guy out of college. It's just it's a shame.
I don't know what it is. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I still have a soft spot for Leighton Vander Esch. I feel like he still has all the makings to be a dynamic player in the NFL.
But his neck injuries, man.
Just the injuries in general, like that's what really setting him back. I remember his rookie year, man, because I was always a Leighton Vander Esch guy. He was a guy that I wanted the Steelers to draft throughout that draft process.
Yeah.
He was a standout defensive rookie in his rookie season. But ever since that neck injury and his injuries continuing to come up, you know, he just really hasn't been having that big impact or that big major role, you know, when he was a rookie.
I feel like, unfortunately, he's already hit his ceiling because of his neck injuries. They're just too severe to invest a lot in him. But I'm going to throw him out there for a depth piece because he is nice.
He is nice.
Outside linebacker, edge depth, which is what we need, man.
Yeah.
Edge depth pretty much since Highsmith's rookie year has been very lackluster.
It's been a rotation of just that, depth guys.
Hell, I'll even say since the Melvin Ingram short stint that.
That situation, which that still confused me. Then again, we don't know, what he was promised, what he was told, what got him to sign.
Say, she say kind of situation. You don't know.
I don't think we'll ever know. I really don't.
But my fear is, could that be the same for Bud Dupree? We all love Bud Dupree. We love to bring him in. It's all a matter of what he wants. Does he want a 1-year prove-it deal with some team?
I would think Bud would know what he wants coming up front.
Yeah.
He's not going to sign with the Steelers. They're not going to tell him that he's not going to be in that position.
No.
There's no way they're going to be like, hey, you're going to start over Highsmith. And then, another Ingram situation. It's not going to happen.
No, it's all a matter of what Bud wants. Does he want a 1-year prove-it deal where he can get another starting gig somewhere else? Or does he want to play a depth role behind Highsmith, behind Watt, which would be excellent? At this stage in his career, I don't know. It's unfortunate that his injury really stalled his progression and his prime. Or you could throw out the argument, oh, well, he only played so well to get that bag and then got lazy, like everyone assumed when he was a free agent for the Steelers, right? I don't know. It's all a matter of what Bud wants nowadays, but I'm still going to throw his name out there. I think a reunion
absolutely.
would be
I think it's a reunion that we would all like to see. He definitely still has that chemistry and that bond with TJ Watt. I don't think that'll ever be separated.
No.
Dupree, ever since that ACL injury, I remember that year vividly. He was breaking out. He was bound for a Pro Bowl season.
He was everywhere.
And I remember that ACL injury. That was devastating to our defense. That really hurt. But Highsmith did step up within the later part of that season. But
he's coming off 15 and a half sacks.
Ever since that ACL injury, he hasn't been the same player. I don't think he got lazy. I just feel like that injury definitely took a toll on him. And with him getting older, him aging, he's not I don't think he's a starter caliber every down guy anymore.
No.
I think he works as that rotational edge rusher, to which the Steelers have been experimenting. They've been trying.
Yeah.
They did it with Highsmith in his rookie year. They've been trying to do it with Malik Reed and who was that one guy? The freaking tattoo guy. What was his name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Cassius Marsh.
That guy.
Cassius Marsh.
Well, he was a former Ram, right? Was it Rams?
Seahawks, and then he went to the Bears, which that controversial ref shit started. Monday Night Football, remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Of course, we had Derek Tuska. So the revolving door of primary edge rush depth has been bad. Bringing Bud back would be nice.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's go with O'Shane Zimenez, man, from Old Dominion in college. And he's been with the Giants for a couple years. And hasn't really found his role outside of a depth piece. Even when the Dolphins, the Giants were just bare at their position for a couple years before they got to where they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, even then he still couldn't find it. I think as a depth piece, he stood in nicely as an edge guy. Now he'd be switching schemes from a 4-3 DN to a 3-4 outside linebacker, which might suit him a little better. But I think as an edge guy, we could bring him in, see what he's got. Mm-hmm. I'll throw this name out there because he's a little familiar. And same thing with Zimenez. I mean, coming out of college, he just hasn't found his footing. Chase Winovich. Who remembers him?
Oh, wow. Yeah, the Pittsburgh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
born and raised, right, I believe?
I think so. But he does have that, pre-draft visit, and they went to dinner with him around that draft season. So yeah, there's that connection there.
One of the Rooneys, was it Dan Rooney that not the Dan Rooney, one of Art's kids. Yeah. Didn't he have a dinner with him or something?
I think so. I think Tomlin attended that as well. So I mean, there's that connection. I'm not gonna buy too much into that. I'm just gonna throw his name out there because he's a free agent, and that might draw the Steelers back in. Like, hey, he's a free agent now. Maybe we can snag this guy. But I'm gonna go a little better. I'm gonna throw these underrated names out there. Some guys you may have never heard of, but as depth pieces, as special teams guys, really stood out. And they're mostly in the NFC. NFC? I want to say. What division is that? The West, I want to say, with the Bucks and the Saints. That's not the West. That's the
South.
Thank you. Thank you.
South.
The NFC South. Caden Ellis, Saints outside linebacker. He's been a rotational piece for their very, very good front seven defense. Maybe not so this year, but he's coming off I think 7 sacks as a rotational guy. I think he's at his age, at his cost, he could come in and be a very nice primary edge guy. To just rotate with Highsmith and Watt, which he'd still see a good percentage in snaps. So yeah. I think he's someone that's just hungry, that's strong. He has the length. I think we can bring him in. Same thing for Anthony Nelson. Very similar story to Caden Ellis, except he's a bit more of a special teams guy, but he can come in and play that edge piece role. I'm laughing because he just.
We're live, bro. Come on. You gonna hold it?
I'm done, man. I need an Iron City.
I guess I gotta take over, don't I, huh?
Yeah. You gotta take over, man.
Okay. Well, Dan, great names. Great names. I'd be interested in bringing either one of them. I have two other guys in mind that I wrote down. One of them is Dante Fowler.
I like that. First round pedigree.
He was a great rotational edge defender for the Cowboys. He had 6 sacks as an edge defender.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he did. And I think as a rotational piece, he can be more than capable of rotating with Watt and Highsmith, getting in there, being a capable. Damn it, Justin, shut the hell up.
But last year, right? We even put him on our free agency wish list last year.
Yeah, we did, yes.
And I would love to bring him in, man. That first round pedigree, played for the Jags. I mean, we all know his history, but
yeah. You gotta shut the fuck up. Swear jar.
This is why the podcast is live and off the rails every week, because of shit like this, man. In case you guys are laughing, what's going on? Justin farted.
Hold on, I'm muted. There's got to be some context. I blame Ryan Shazier for this.
What?
I blame him, man, because, God damn it. I apologize.
What are you talking about?
Listen, chat, I'm sorry. I made a mistake.
Yeah, did you ever?
The way things are going aren't supposed to be this way, man. But I hate to keep doing this. I got to shout it out, man. Good shit. Good stuff. So, highly recommend.
Smells
Okay.
good, too.
Yeah. Back at it, Dante Fowler, he'd be another good name to add there as a rotational edge defender. One more guy I wrote down is Arden Key of the Jaguars.
I remember Arden Key.
Arden Key, yeah, he was drafted by the Raiders, didn't really do much there, but went to the Jaguars. And even when they drafted Trayvon Walker first overall, they still had him and Arden Key in rotations. And Key was a guy that stuck out on that defense, that growing, rising defense right there as a rotational piece.
Yeah.
You know, considering what happened last year with Watt and him being injured, and the guys that we had, Malik Reed and I almost said Jarvis Jones, Jameer Jones, Jesus Christ.
Jarvis.
You have a Jones at linebacker. Good God, forget about it.
Let's not go down that hill again.
Yeah, really.
I feel like it's very important to have a key number 3 edge guy to fill that rotational role, because that's what we need. The Steelers have been experimenting that for years now.
If there's one position I am confident they absolutely attack in free agency, it is the edge piece. There's guys they have to grab.
Yeah.
And rumors of Bud Dupree coming out of the I don't know how reliable they are, but coming out of the combine, they said Bud Dupree, a reunion to Pittsburgh could be very possible, is very likely. We'll see what happens in the coming days, but edge needs to be addressed in free agency, not only because the names in the draft are pretty light after day 2.
Yeah, it's not a big, deep class.
No,
man.
it's not. But it's just, you got to snag someone, man. We can't, unless they really like Quincy Roche, maybe, but even then, we need competition. We need a guy to fill that role for sure. Because when Watt was out, I mean, I know Watt is Watt. He's different, man. He's built different. But still, we need someone to come in and fill that role, man. Do something. So, moving on to cornerback. We all agree corner is a huge need. Very well could be the pick at 17. In fact, if it is, I wouldn't really complain.
No. Not at
But
all.
it's a position they could focus on in free agency. We all agree Sutton should be brought back to help fill in that and just add bodies and just add him back to the secondary. I mean, he needs to stay. But if they want to add someone alongside Wallace and Sutton, or just Wallace because Sutton could be gone, let's not forget that he could be gone.
Yeah.
If they want to make a splash at cornerback, they could get someone like a Jamel Dean of the Bucs, who's been very good. His progression has been fun to watch. The past couple years, seeing how the Bucs have been doing, he might be a little costly. I feel like he's going to get a very nice payday.
Yeah.
Very similar to the one Bucs corner that went to free agency
Carlton
last year.
Davis.
Thank you. I mean,
He might get something similar. 3 years, 45, something like that.
yeah.
No.
So, which I think is pretty decent for a starting corner. I think he's very reliable. I think he'd be very nice, and it's a decent splash.
Yeah, he's got the size, pretty bulky for his size too, and he's very speedy. I think he ran a 4.3
Yeah.
flat.
He's got what we need in a modern number one corner. If they want to go someone younger, maybe a little cheaper, but still very stellar, very underrated. We love this guy coming out of college for sure. And there's actually a photo. I got to find it. And if I do, I'll crop it on the screen. There's a photo of when he tweeted that he would love to be in the Steelers uniform. Byron Murphy. He was drafted the first pick of day 2 the year he was drafted by the Cardinals. And maybe I'm looking too much into that, but that could be a draw to him. If the Steelers so interested, he could come to Pittsburgh, seeing that he's going to be a first-time free agent. But he's a guy that could also get a decent payday. Maybe not as much as Dean or as much as the other corners, but still could be something decent for him. But if they really want to focus on corner and lock down that position,
And youth at the same time.
they could get these guys. And I'm not going to lie to you. Those are the only 2 guys we have listed at the cornerback position in this wish list, because every other guy's an aging vet. You could say a James Bradbury, but you're going to have to replace the position in 2 years if you sign him.
You got to think, after the big year he had, a 1-year prove deal with the Eagles, he's going to be 30, and he's probably going to get a big deal. It's a big risk to sign a 30-year-old cornerback to like a 3-4 year deal when the tendency for cornerbacks is just straight down.
Exactly. I would love a Jamel Dean or a Byron Murphy. But I do see the Steelers addressing it in corner because they love a lot of guys. It is uber stacked. It might be the most stacked
in
position
the draft.
I've seen.
It's going to happen. I would be surprised if they didn't go in the first, maybe 3 rounds.
But I also wouldn't throw it out the window that Sutton leaves. We address corner and free agency and still draft a guy early.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that. So, I mean, we'll see. But a position I don't want to just erase because not only Sutton could be gone, but so could Edmonds.
Yeah.
So could Casey. And then we're left with no strong safety. Who's alongside Minka?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy this week, depending on what the Steelers do as far as letting guys go, all that things, and guys signing elsewhere. We might have to see this board change, which is why we do the pre-free agency mock drafts.
Yes.
Because we know it's going to.
It is.
In some capacity.
But that's why we listed safety as a wish list, just in case. Obviously, we hope Edmonds comes back and that's no longer a need. But we're still going to add these guys because that's a possibility. Edmonds could be gone. Tremaine's going to be a free agent. Terrell might follow. I don't know. First name I'm going to list is Deshaun Elliott, former Raven, and last year played with the Lions, man. I think he's very dependable. He plays his role nice. Great box safety. I think he'd fit his role very well, filling in for Edmonds. I'm going to throw the same thing out there for Juan Thornhill. He's another guy I like coming out of college. You know, he's been alongside a couple different starting safeties with his tenure in the Chiefs, but very similar to Edmonds. He's improved year after year. And I think last year he came off very well. He might be a little inconsistent in some capacities.
Yeah,
but
that's my small gripe with him. It's really not that big of a deal because he definitely has flashes out there. You know, he's a credible starter. He's a hell of a player, very speedy guy. He's got the size for a safety. I feel like his tackling could be better at the same time, but Thornhill wouldn't be a bad option.
I think last year he really showcased a lot for the Chiefs in their secondary. So I'm going to throw him out there. And he's young. He could be pretty decently a decent cost as well. Another guy I'm going to throw out there because of his first-round pedigree, and I think the Steelers liked him coming out of the draft out of Michigan, Jabril Peppers.
Yeah.
He's been tossed around a little bit from, I think he was drafted by the Browns to the Giants.
Yeah, well, we all wanted him, yeah.
Yeah, Browns to the Giants to the Patriots, but even the Patriots, right? Like, he really stood out on their underrated defense last year. And I keep seeing Patriots fans, re-sign Jabril Peppers. So
Yeah.
I think, he's been fun to watch the past couple years, and he could be someone still young, plays his role well. He's a quintessential box safety, right?
Yeah,
And coming out of college, he had that linebacker safety hybrid mix.
Oh, he was that versatility, really.
He is very much like Edmonds. He's not going to make a lot of turnovers. He's not going to be very splashy, but plays his role well. Perfect box guy, downhill guy, plays the run well. I would love Peppers as a replacement for Edmonds if that's the case.
Yeah. Peppers would be a nice addition, a good compliment to make at the same time. Peppers, I feel like, is still a capable starter at 27 years old. I think he's going to be 28 when the season happens, but
I've always kept an eye on Peppers, man. He was another guy I really liked coming out of college and just kept my eye on, just see where he would come along.
Yeah.
And he's doing well.
yeah, he's still dependable. 2 other guys I wrote down. One of them is Julian Love of the Giants. Me and Den were big fans of him out of Notre Dame during the draft process a couple years ago. He's 24 years old. He's still very young.
Yeah.
He's still reliable. He's a hell of a captain for the Giants. He was a big part of that defense last year.
But he plays free safety in that slot role. That's my concern.
Did he?
Yes, because
I could have sworn Xavier McKinnon played free safety.
no, he plays strong safety.
Really?
I could be wrong on that. I could be very wrong on that, and I probably
It's tricky. Looking at safety, like on any website, they don't always list whether they're free or say.
Yeah, they're just
strong.
safety. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
But I would agree. I would love any of those guys to fill in for Edmonds.
Yeah.
We obviously hope that that's not a need, but that could be, man.
It's gonna be interesting.
It very is.
And one more name I added. Now, he's on the older side, but I feel like, he's had a resurgence since joining the Bengals a few years ago. His name is Von Bell. And he's going to be due for a contract as well as the safety opposite of him, Jesse Bates.
yeah.
It could be hard for the Bengals to keep both guys at the amount of free agents that they're going to have based off, they're going to try to keep Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, guys like that.
T. Higgins too, yeah.
But Von Bell, ever since he joined the Bengals year after year, he was just more of a playmaker, a dependable safety at that. I think he'd be a decent addition, matter of fact, a good addition to replace Edmonds if Edmonds or even Casey were to walk in free agency. Von Bell, I think he'd be a decent option.
I think he would too. Any of those guys would be a good option for Edmonds, but obviously we hope that's not the case, as Edmonds is here to stay, hopefully. But that is pretty much our free agency wish list for the Steelers, man. A lot of names we threw out there. Some known, some not. Some very underrated, some cheap for any role that the Steelers could be looking for as a fill-in starter, as a two-down guy, as a depth piece. So we try to throw any variation out there. But that's our Steelers free agency wish list. Now we're going to leave it to the chat. Any more guys you guys would like the Steelers to attack that we did not mention, or some of the guys we may have mentioned, like David Reed said, how about Rocky Sin? I'm not a fan of him. I think he's very inconsistent, but he could be an option for depth reasons. Very similar to like a James Pierre is what I see in Rocky Sin.
I don't know. I mean, I agree, but I feel like some team's going to give him the opportunity to start.
You think?
As he was a starter for the Colts last year. Wait, was it the Colts? Or no, I think he was a Colt, but was traded for Unique Ngakwe.
He was, correct.
So he was a Raider.
That's right, I remember
He was a Raider, yeah. He was. I believe he was a starter for the Raiders. I mean, he didn't. The Raiders didn't look good last year outside of Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. That was literally it. So,
obviously.
So, but I do see a team giving him that opportunity, giving him that option to be a starter.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Rocky Sin's not bad, but yeah, the inconsistencies do worry me.
Pennsylvania Rick says Bobby Wagner. The concern with that is he'd come in for a year or two, and then we have to fill the position again, which has been too reoccurring at the linebacker position. How many times have we had in-season or mid-season trades where we just had guys like Joe Schobert, Avery Williamson, John Bostic? Who else am I forgetting? I think I'm forgetting a guy or two that we've traded for or brought in, and they've only been here a year, and we have to replace the guy again. It's too reoccurring. It's annoying, and it's the reason why linebacker is still in need.
Yeah, like here's the thing: if we were in win now mode, if we were like nearly Super Bowl contenders, then maybe we would have a different tune in it because Wagner is still a capable starter at his age, as he's going to be like 33, I believe.
Yeah.
He's still a dynamic player at the linebacker position.
Statistically, he's coming off a career year.
Yeah, with the Rams, but you would just have to replace him in a year that you're trying to reload, I would say. It's not really a rebuild, it's more of a reload.
But Bobby Wagner's even said that he wants to win now. And no offense to you guys can think differently. I don't see the Steelers winning now. This is what you
probably
called
not
last
anytime
week.
soon.
This is a 4-year plan under Kenny's rookie contract.
At least that's my hope. I mean, now if they can win a Super Bowl in 3 years, within those 3 years, absolutely, let's do it. But
Wagner's looking to win now. He knows his career is coming to a tail end. He's still playing at a very good level, but he wants to play for a contender. Like a really good, like a stacked team, man.
Yeah, of course.
Like a team like the Dolphins. You don't think they're targeting him for the linebacker position?
You don't think Ramsey's going to try to recruit his former teammate?
I mean, sir, he might go back to Seattle.
Pull a season what the Rams should have been last year.
He might go to the Eagles. The Eagles have so many free agents. They might go to him. I mean, he might go to the Chiefs. Why wouldn't he? Who wouldn't want to go to the Chiefs? I mean, let's be honest. He's going to pick those options over us, even if we show interest.
Yeah, Laura put the name down.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Hey, he was kind of like a hybrid, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a safety, then turned to linebacker, and he was not good.
He
was not good.
I did not want to think of him today.
Pennsylvania Rick says he sees us as a contender. I know a lot of people do, but
maybe
sometimes,
playoff bound. Nearly playoff bound. I mean, we always will be under Mike Tomlin.
I said that. Then I said that on the first episode, I think.
Well,
yeah.
Here's my argument.
Playoff contenders.
We are absolutely playoff contenders, but when was the last time we got far into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they say anything's possible.
You're
and I agree.
right.
I agree.
You're right.
But we're just trying to be objective. We don't want to be those fans that. I think we made that clear, actually.
I used to be that fan.
Yeah,
and I've been through enough disappointment with this team that have opened my eyes to hold your expectations very mid and standard, and honestly kind of low.
For example, remember when we signed Joe Hayden? We were freaking out and everything like that. Joe Hayden was a Steeler. You even said he was the one person we were missing on the defense. Yet Sean Davis wasn't a good safety. Mike Mitchell wasn't a good safety.
And we went one and done that year.
Yeah, we did.
We did that a lot.
The
last decade.
The last time we went far into the playoffs was 2016, where we got blown out by the Patriots in Foxborough. Every single year we made the playoffs since then, one and done. And most of them have been blowouts. So, no, I don't see us as deep playoff or Super Bowl contenders. Not yet. Not under this coaching staff. Not with how young this team is. In 3 years, very well so. And I actually hope so.
If they play the cards right.
We have guys under contract for how many years? All we got to do is build certain pieces this year and next year, and I think we make a full go.
Give it time to grow. Give it time to marinate.
And that's me being truly optimistic. And hopefully we have a better coaching staff. Matt Canada. But, we'll see. We'll see. None of that matters with the worst OC in the NFL. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. That was the joke last week, remember?
Love you,
No,
Ben.
you said love you, Ben.
Oh, love you, Ben.
Love you, Ben.
Oh, boy.
Any other names you want to target? Anything else you want to add?
As far as free agents go?
For agents or just any Steelers topic?
No, I think we covered everything.
While we're at it,
we started off by saying the team is slow to get started, and we touched on all the names that we've been discussing. So
yeah, we talked about Steelers free agents and the Steelers free agency wish list. I mean,
as far as news go, I'm not really seeing anything on Twitter.
It's the calm before the storm, I think. Man.
Pretty much.
I really do.
Yes, I mean, tomorrow starts.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, tomorrow starts the legal talking point for teams.
Yeah, and then of course Wednesday's the beginning of the new league year.
Yeah. So I mean, some of these guys we talked about today could very well be gone tomorrow. Actually, most of them probably will be. I don't know. Seems like every team is rushing to make moves and doing something while we're just
sitting on our hands, just waiting, biding our time.
It's all good over here, man. We don't need
the standard is the standard, right?
We don't need nobody. Bro.
I don't get it, bro.
We're losing guys, but that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah,
no biggie.
Yeah, we have $10 million, but that's not gonna buy anything.
Nah.
I mean, they can buy me everything, but that's not gonna buy us anything.
Oh man, I'm buying a house with at least that first $1 million.
Bro, for real. Nonetheless, I don't think
then I'm buying some more Shaleev.
Shaleev.
I'm gonna spend $1 million on Shaleev.
I'm buying a bunch more Iron City. Shout out Iron City.
There you go.
Try to have at least once every episode because that's part of the Steeler Culture podcast.
I was gonna have one. That would have been even more incredible.
That'd have been something, man. Last time you mixed. When was the last time you mixed that together?
And to be transparent, and I can't believe I keep talking about it, but here we are. It's funny too, the name Just Blaze. For the old fans, the old subscribers.
Oh God, yeah.
That name Just Blaze kind of rings bells. But today was something. Today was something, man. Hey, Ryan with the $2 says get Matt Canada out of here.
Couldn't agree more. We all know he's not going to go, so there's no point in really arguing no more. But once the season comes around, I'm sure by week 1 we'll be bitching about him. So we'll see. But obviously, we hope that's not the case. All we hope is for the growth increase in the team.
All we hope for is growth, promise, progression. Him to scheme a passing game properly.
Sun City says, get your Bill Peppers, cut Chucks, and get a vet offensive tackle. We could do that. We could do that. We could very well do that.
Tony Daniels says Cam Sutton is not a number one corner.
He's not.
But as far as reliability and dependability at the cornerback position compared to previous years, I am re-signing this guy.
For what the Steelers are looking for, yeah. I mean, as a slot guy, as a fill-in, outside guy and formation and substitutions, absolutely. I just can't fathom us letting him go. I don't want to. It might happen, but I don't know. I just hate to see it.
You can still keep him and draft a guy potentially first, second round, whatever, whoever's there, and your defensive backs are stacked right there.
Yeah. Would you let Deontay Johnson go for a second rounder? Absolutely. Not this year, though. Not under how much dead cap hit we'd have. Now, if we were to trade him after June 1st, we'd have a much lesser dead cap hit. But
then it's like you're not getting any draft picks that's going to make any impact this year.
Exactly.
You're losing a player, but you're not really able to gain anything other than cap space for the following.
Especially when we're trying to build around Kenny.
Yeah.
For not only this year, but next year. So
right. next offseason, that discussion will definitely start brewing.
Right. But even then,
with legs.
Sometimes I still don't think that's a logical decision.
It really is going to come down to what he does on the field this
Yes.
season. If he comes out and has
0 touchdowns again?
Then again, 0 touchdowns, I mean, he's got to get better.
How much did he get paid? How much did he get paid this past year? How much was it?
I'll let you know in a minute.
It wasn't overly. It wasn't.
Wasn't
a
it
lot.
16
Speaking
million?
of a guy that could use restructuring, why would he? I'd rather him take a pay cut rather than a restructure. But I'd absolutely call Deontay Johnson office. Hey, we need money back. But I don't know if he's going to do that.
After the season he had, I mean, he's not a terrible player, and some of that surely, in my opinion, doesn't fall on him because coaching does play a factor into how they play on the field and the routes that they're running. But I mean, if you're being paid $16 million, I mean, you gotta live up to it.
We would. So here's what would happen. If we were to trade him, say tomorrow, our dead cap hit would be, according to this, $11 million. Well, that's trading. If we were to cut him, that's $19 million. If we were to trade him, that's $11 million. If we were to trade him after June 1st, the dead cap hit would be $5.8 million, and that would also be the same for next year. Which means very similar to the Tuitt situation. Even though he's not under a contract with us no more, even though he's not on the roster, he'd still come back to us in effect with dead cap.
And I think
either way you look,
it's what, $8 million or something?
Yeah,
close somewhere around.
So it was a lot.
Either way you look at it, he'd still have an effect on us in terms of finance and cap, stay or go. So again, the Steelers have trapped themselves in his contract, but the Steelers like him enough to keep him around. So that Deontay trade rumors, I'm not really going to pay much more attention to it because I don't believe it.
No,
it's not going to happen. The Buccaneers have interest in signing Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield. What?
Where'd you see this?
What? Oh, it's on Twitter. Hold up.
What?
Say that again, because my brain went.
The Buccaneers have interest in signing Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield, and also over signing a Blaine Gabbert is also an option. Holy mid!
That's a lot of mid going there to compete.
God, bro.
I think I know who's winning that battle.
I don't. Brissett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Come on. Give it to Brissett. I always liked Brissett, man. But why? Like, I don't understand that.
He said, but why, Junior?
Bad.
Oh, damn, man. What a day. What a day.
You know, everyone's throwing out the thing of, Jalen Ramsey was traded for a third rounder and a backup tight end. Why couldn't we do that? Because we can't afford him.
Yeah, again, we were talking about this during the or before the live stream. People don't include like a lot of very important like issues or points.
Is it a cheap trade? Yes, but can we afford him? No. In fact,
Why do you think that the trade was so cheap? Because nobody's going to pay that much cap for a big contract.
But the Dolphins can afford him because they created $40 million by 4 moves.
All we did was cut William Jackson. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Jalen Ramsey, man, his cap hit this year. His cap hit this year at 29 would be $17 million.
We're rich, bitch.
And if we were to cut him next year, we would suffer 0 dead cap. But it's a 1-year rental. So why would you trade that for a 1-year rental when you're not winning anything this year?
It's that time of year, man, where we're really sitting here right now talking about Steelers cap space.
Yep.
This is happening.
I wish we would rather talk about, Tremaine Edmonds is back Tremaine.
I feel like we should be discussing like what players the team could bring in realistically. Instead, we're like, well, they got to do this. They got to move this guy around.
I wish we could tell you, hey, Terrell Edmonds was back. Sutton's back. Ogunjobi's back. Devin Bush sucks. I mean,
dude, we're like a bunch of alcoholics in the car. Everyone's trying to put their change together to get that 140 ounce that we could all share. You know, that's what it feels like being a Steelers fan every offseason. Why are we constantly doing that?
I don't know.
That was a weird analogy.
It was a very real analogy, but that's what Shea
It
Lee
works, though. That's all that matters.
That's what Shea Lee does to you.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, man.
Shout out to Ryan Shea. Where's my book? It's over there.
You want to get
I'll
it?
grab it.
Which, by the way, I read the book on the last time we went to Pittsburgh was for training camp. That was a debacle because of the rain, but
again, we made the most of that trip, and you did the whole way up there, and I think even
on the way back, I read Shazier's book. I can't recommend it anymore.
Shout out to Ryan Shazier, man.
I cannot recommend it anymore.
I hate to say this, but what could have been? And the reason why I hate to say it is because it's,
in my eyes, though, he's kind of like James Conner. In a sense that he's always going to be a Steeler to me.
He is. Of
course.
Maybe not to everybody else, but to me for life, man. Period.
100%. And it's good that he's endeavoring, and he wrote his own book. He's got his own medical marijuana chain now.
And his own business with people that went through his situation. Like, Shazier's doing good business. He's doing great for himself off the field, but, man, do we miss him on that field.
We are still feeling the effects of it.
In the end, I am glad that this man is okay, alive and well and walking.
That's what's most important, man. At the end of the day, health is the most important thing in everybody's life.
Absolutely.
Everybody's. So
Steelers can't afford Tremaine Edmonds. I disagree. I think they can if they were to start making moves.
But again, they're gonna have to do the whole sitting in the car. How much? You got $1? Okay, I got $3. Let's figure this out.
They got 3 days to do that.
Jesus.
They got 3 days to do that. The Steelers are putting themselves in this situation.
I trust Colin to get us out this corner, but he needs to start making moves like now.
And you know what's going to happen, too, is we're going to start seeing people that are going to kind of shift again, as always. And they're just going to be like, that's how the Steelers do it. We got all the pieces we need. The sky's blue. It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, you're probably right, but that doesn't mean...
I don't mean to be a dick, okay? I don't mean to be that guy, but... come on, do something, man. Make some moves. Make some contract adjustments. I understand they said we're going to get to a late start, but goddamn, know.
But why? Why are they coming to a late start? I don't know. I really don't understand.
That kind of concerns me about the future. I don't know why it does. The fact that they're still sticking with their ways and everything. Maybe it's an Art Rooney thing. I don't know. The owner tends to have the final say for the most part. I don't know.
You know why we're aggravated a little bit? And you guys may say we're overreacting and be like, all right, well,
of course,
hold your horses.
That's always what's said.
Obviously. But the reason why we're getting a little antsy here is because we are under Kenny's rookie contract, okay? You got pieces you can build around him to build a Super Bowl caliber team. And waiting to the last second to do anything is, in my opinion nowadays, a loser's mentality. That may have worked in the past. It doesn't work recently. It hasn't done us favors recently. It's not doing us favors now. So they need to start making moves and start building pieces around and keeping guys so they can fucking create a championship team. Otherwise, guess what?
You're just sticking with the same mentality and the same group that you had 2 years ago, last year. Like, my worry is that they're going to run it back with the offensive line.
Yeah.
I just don't know how people look at what we've done for the last decade and say, we're doing the right things.
That is why my view of the team and the coaching staff heading into the season, heading into the offseason is very low, because how many times have they done this?
Dude, I'm not asking for Tomlin's head or anybody's head. I just want them to kind of adjust what they've been doing and make some changes to get out of that mold.
Because what they've been doing recently for the last 10 years, what has it won us? Nothing. So why should I continue to trust what the fuck they're doing?
Yeah, I don't get the arguments, bro. They keep going.
I don't. It hasn't won us anything. Why should I believe that's going to continue to do us anything? Okay?
Why continue to do something that hasn't done you favors?
I got one beer in me. I'm already fucking mad.
It's like watching the same movie year in and year out. It's like watching a Friday the 13th sequel. It's the same concept, and it gets boring. I know that's another weird analogy.
No, because you're right. Because it's the same fucking movie. Oh, dumbass teenagers go to this camp that obviously has a bad background. And they get killed. No shit. So if you just wait till the last minute to do anything, and we get players scraps and team scraps, we're not gonna win shit. We're gonna be that dead bitch on the fucking lake. I told you, this podcast is gonna be off the rails, man.
Oh no!
Seriously,
you said dead bitch.
There goes the YouTube monetization. Bro.
We're the one tripping off of nothing, man. While every other fucking everyone's running out the damn camp surviving. Like, we gotta do something, bro. Seriously.
Something. And by the way, if you guys hear like sirens and stuff, we're definitely living in the city right now. So we apologize.
City living.
I think it adds to the rawness of what we're trying to capture here.
It does. I mean, I hate the noise because it kind of distracts me, but it happens. Nonetheless, I just
We're almost 2 hours in. Holy shit!
It doesn't feel like it. It's almost 4 o'clock. It's 3:45.
RM says, "Dude is tripping with one beer." It's kind of the thing, man. It's kind of.
I don't know. No, because when you got to the subject of the last,
are you a light drinker?
You know what's crazy? I have an energy drink. I'm not even that hype.
Well, when you got to the point and when you said the last 10 years, and then that's when the
yeah, I gave you PT or what is it? PTSD. I almost said PSD.
Say Leavers really got
I'm
to
just.
bro.
I hate to bring it up, but you know what happened 10 years ago? 2013.
Oh yeah.
Tebow.
Yeah.
Ever since that, we've been.
That was 2012. Yeah.
2012 season.
Yeah. Nonetheless, it's just when you said that, it opened the floodgates that
Well, you might be right. My bad.
I can't trust what they continue to do because it has done us zero favors. It has gotten zero Lombardis back on our pedestal. It has done nothing for us.
No.
So why should I continue to trust in their standard, in their ways? I can't. Which is why I continue to say, don't get excited. Don't expect this. Don't expect that. Don't get your expectations high. This and that, right? This is why I say this team isn't Super Bowl caliber because they. And same thing goes with their coaching staff and their in-house promotions.
I even say the ownership
and their retaining of talent and their belief in mid-round linemen and a boatload of other shit, right? The stuff they've been doing for years. It's done us nothing. Why should I continue to do us anything? That's just how I feel. I hate to... If you guys can't see that, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But being a fan throughout the entire 2010s and experiencing all the disappointment, all the one-and-dones, all the promising team, all the Ben's prime, and it getting us nothing... And them
That's the most frustrating part.
And them still doing what they've been doing for how many years now? Why do I think...
Why should you think that it's going to be any different?
I don't. That is why we request change. That is why we request moves to be made now.
There it is.
That's why we request a new coordinator and this and that and an aggressive approach to everything rather than just sitting back and doing what they've been doing. I wish I could put that in better wording, but that's just how I feel. That's just what I've been thinking, man. You know, everyone's saying Super Bowl caliber, Super Bowl this, Super Bowl that, playoff this, playoff that. And I'm thinking, bro, what have they done the last 5 years that's been any different? And why should you think that we're this and that? That's why I said when they brought Ben back, and after the 2020 season, when we brought Ben back, I said that if he comes back, it'll be a waste of a season because it's going to lead to the same result. And what did it do? Lead to the same result. It's easy to tell this team because it's so repetitive, it's so complacent, it's so lazy. And if they don't change anything now, why should we expect any better result? That's why I'm hoping this new administration would have done something by now, but they haven't.
But again, I think that falls on ownership because, again, you mentioned Ben. You know, Ben said himself that Tomlin and Kevin Colbert were ready to move on, but Art Rooney was not having it. He did not want to move on from Ben, and thus Ben came back because Art Rooney has the final say. Who's to say Art Rooney doesn't have the final say with these situations, even with Omar Khan and Andy Weidel as the new administrators in office?
And you know, talking about last year, right? How the team improved and this and that, right? And I hate to keep on the negative talk, but
and listen, we don't do this on purpose.
No.
Believe us.
No.
We don't want to be this way.
Because I'm actually very hopeful for the future with how young this team is. But the way they keep approaching everything, the line, free agency, the cap, nothing's changing, which frustrates the shit out of me.
This whole discussion is completely out of left field.
This is why this podcast is off the rails, and it's just.
Well, I mean, at this point, we had our talking points, and now we're just it's all extra discussion.
I don't even know how this came up, but this is a great discussion.
But last year, right, we definitely had a better second half of the season, but that's also because of a lighter schedule and some bum teams. While last year, when we faced elite teams and Super Bowl caliber teams and teams that went to the end of the season in the playoffs and everything, right? What happened? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Two things I wanted to mention. Ryan with the $2. I don't know if we did mention it, but if we did, blame you know what.
Yeah.
He says they keep repeating the same things over and over. So, yeah. And then, of course, Joseph says you guys would have hated the Steelers' 80s. We would have.
You're probably right.
You're probably right, but it doesn't change the fact that the way we feel now, I think people try to say that, like, you would have hated the 80s. It's like a deflection type of thing. Like, oh, you think it's bad now, you should have been there then.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that it's bad now.
Yeah,
You know,
it doesn't. Like,
It's a problem in today's tendency.
We would have hated the 80s, for sure.
yeah. Unfortunately, I was born late 90s, so unfortunately I
This
didn't
isn't
experience the
a
80s.
measuring contest. Like,
It's
which
not.
which era was worse or which era was... No, we're just pointing out, we expect a little bit better from our team. And it's frustrating. Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, all these great guys, and Ben and them couldn't get it done. For one reason or another, injuries or just being in a playoff game and not performing up to your standards, guys sitting out because they got, they hurt their knee a little bit. It doesn't change anything. It's just, I feel like we should have a few more.
I agree. We absolutely should have. And there's been many years we absolutely should have struck when the iron was hot, and we didn't.
But instead, we let a team like the Patriots tie us when we
And
were
we
sitting
gotta-
atop of the mountain. Now we got to share that mountain.
Stop the whole, like, oh, you think it's bad? You should be a Browns fan. I don't give a fuck. We're not Browns fans.
No.
We're Steelers fans.
We have this is why it's called the Steeler Culture Podcast. We have a certain standard and a certain culture to abide to, which is why all of these names and jerseys are on the wall, and there will be more added, okay? These guys lived up to the standard, the culture, the Steeler culture.
Troy Polamalu, in his Hall of Fame speech, made it very known of how much the Steeler
It's your
culture
cover
meant to
photo.
him.
Yep.
Yes.
In fact, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to make it part of the background. I'm not going to lie, man. I want his picture with every single wording on that, to be real with you. But yes, I mean, we have a certain reputation and a certain expectation to hold by. And when we don't
Live up to.
And call us spoiled for that, but that's just certain teams are held to that caliber.
Yeah.
So excuse me.
Reputation,
Excuse me. Which is also why I hate how they've been attacking this O-line, right? I mean, for years past, they've been focusing on unproven depth and mid-round guys.
Or projects.
Which has led us to this position. And it appears they might be continuing with that. And I'm not holding on to promise and this and that and chemistry from last year. Like, fuck that. Like, isn't your projection to get better? I don't give a fuck about no chemistry from third or fourth round picks that have done nothing for us but get Kenny hurt. So, excuse the shit out of me. One beer in me, I'm already bitching. wait till the season.
Throughout this whole discussion alone has got.
Wait till the draft.
Enough in the swear
Wait till
jar.
Paris Johnson gets off the board, man. That TV might not be on no more.
Oh, it's going to be gross and unseemly in this one. Oh, man.
Great one.
I'm sure
Oh,
me
God.
showing off Shaliv is going to irritate some folks.
I told you guys, man. This podcast, man. Every episode, something's gonna go off the rails. Whether it's Justin farting, or us talking about how the team's been doing the same thing over and over, and we shouldn't expect any different result. But certain people do because I don't know why. And I used to be that fan, but I obviously matured. So
As we're all in here laughing at a fart.
yeah, right. But that's what this podcast's all about, man. This discussion was not planned. I don't know how it got brought up. I might even clip this segment. Not to upload it this week because there's no relation to upload it.
Yeah.
But for future purposes, I mean,
There's going to be something to look back at and be like, if the Steelers continue to do this, which is my worry, which is all of our worry right here.
especially with Art running the team.
Yeah. I think me personally, I've been hitting that drum for
You have.
way too long.
Honestly, before anyone could.
No. I just saw, I looked at things differently. It always starts at the top. And
It does.
you could just feel the change. Like if you grew up in the era that I did, remember I was an adult when, not to age myself, but who gives a shit? I have gray in my beard. It's established. I'm old.
Looks good on you.
The one gray hair. By the way, you know what I mean, some people get grayer sooner, so I'll take it. But I was a adult as Ben was a rookie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
See, you grew up in the prime of our culture.
I did.
We grew up in the last of that.
But I also grew up when things weren't so pretty. You know, Maddox, Stewart, Bubby Brister, Neil O'Donnell.
You watched, because I started watching Steelers football full time when I was like 12 or 13. That was around when you were that age. That was around the time the Steelers had Cordell and this and that and disappointment when they lost to the Patriots in the 0-1 championship.
Yeah, I told you guys that story. I was really upset about it.
Yeah.
But during your high school years and stuff like that, you witnessed the prime ages of our culture, of our standard, the Ben early years, Bettis getting his ring when going home, Ward, Porter, Palomalu's, all the fun.
And that's why I get upset. You know,
Yes.
I think I'm misunderstood a lot, like as this negative person, but it's stemming from the fact that when Ben and those guys came in, they were being handed down culture.
Yes.
Locker room culture, and for whatever reason, maybe we do blame these guys instead of always bigging them up. They weren't able to kind of get this generation involved in that.
Because certain guys have to. What's the word I'm looking for? They have to. It's like that big brother. Like you gotta inherit that in
for
your younger brother.
Ben, that was Bettis. Bettis
Yes.
was the guy to put him under the wing and kind of try to steer him in the right direction.
Guys like Ben, guys like Hayward nowadays, guys like Watt, they have to drop that down to this current team, which some have, but ultimately, unfortunately, and that goes for ownership as well. Where that fell off, I don't know.
Yeah, because I've been reading Dan Rooney's book. I'm on and off with that book, but I got to read it more consistently. But the many times I hear of Rooney just going into locker rooms and meeting with the players, even practice, going to practice, checking on the players, seeing how they're doing, not just on how they are on the football field, but as their personal life. They have that connection. And it meant so much, and it played a part in their football life.
Even in his later years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even as he was winding down and his life was heading towards that direction, he was still making a point to shake players' hands, talk to them during practices. And we're not saying that Art Rooney's not doing that, right?
Yeah, well, we don't know.
We don't know fully, but we don't see him in images as much as we did with Dan. But
Ike Taylor called him, what do you call him? Like Uncle
basically
Dan
called
or
him
something.
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with AB, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all, about ABs nowadays, but he was incredibly appreciative of Dan Rooney.
Yeah.
And, you grew up in your high school years around that. Unfortunately, we grew up in the later years of that.
Yeah.
Where we started adapting this current culture and this current generation, which obviously hasn't won us nothing. But,
No.
every time when I first got into Steelers history and I really started digging into, because I was incredibly invested in learning about the team and the history and everything, that was one of the few things I really started looking at early was that. And it comes across to you via videos, TV, whatever, right? Highlights. It comes off to you. Like, I can't explain it. It's like it speaks to you in some way. Like, wow, this team was something. So that's why we hope this team were to do something immediate so we can get back to that.
I would think at this point they're going to have to come up with their own thing. I mean, it's so far removed that you can't emulate it anymore.
No, I mean, we talk about doing the same old thing. I mean, them from a business aspect has hurt us, and from a roster aspect has hurt us. From a culture aspect, I mean, I feel like we can't, like you said, we can't adapt that again. But, like...
Not the way it was then.
No, because that was different. That was different.
It was different, and I don't feel like... I don't want to say I'm pretty sure Troy and all them tried to pass these things down.
Yeah.
I just think the guys that they were trying to pass this down to didn't take it serious enough.
I don't think they understood. Where they
didn't understand it, and it really was a change of culture, and not just in football, but the world has changed drastically since the early 2000s, and now where we are now. So social media didn't really exist in this form.
No.
Back then. Back then, it was message boards and forums, and then you got your early Facebook and MySpace, and that kind of started to take off. But the way we are now, this whole thing is different, bro.
Yeah.
And that's just life, but...
Yeah, I mean, we all got to change through the times, and it's all a different era now, and we understand that.
You know, not to get too far off topic, but just being here right now, hearing those sirens, people must die a lot around here, bro. Like,
It's Harrisburg.
God damn.
You know what I always say? It's another day in Harrisburg.
Yeah, for real. Like,
That's why when I'm delivering around the areas, like Saturday, right? Like I hear noises, I see things. I'm like, well, another day in Harrisburg. Like I just shrug it off.
I think it's because I, for the last 5 years or so, I kind of lived, not necessarily out of this, but much quieter area.
I would love to be in a much quieter area. You know where I would love to be right now?
Pittsburgh, yeah, of course, of course.
For weeks now, man. For weeks.
If you think about it, this is around the time where we start really getting hyped for that
We start
trip.
planning.
Yeah, because we would be 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Because for weeks, I've been thinking, man, I get back to Pittsburgh.
No, I fortunately got to go recently, December.
No, you went to the Pens game.
Penguins game. It was your first Pens game.
I think that was December, right?
Yeah. Now, we're not going to go for the draft. In fact, we'll be live in the studio here for day 1, day 2.
Oh, that's going to be fun. You guys definitely want to be tuned in here.
And most likely day 3. I'm going to have a great time.
There may be broken objects in this room.
Broken objects. There'll be a bunch of.
It's going to be gross and unseemly.
There'll be a lot of Iron City. Maybe some Shea Leave.
Because we're not too good for the draft, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we enjoy it. We like the process. We find it entertaining.
Yes.
You know? And for those of you that like that and agree with us and you find it entertaining, tune in. But if you're not into that stuff, we understand. It's cool. It's no biggie. Doesn't mean you're less of a fan.
No.
You know? But, yeah.
I'm just excited for the draft. And
it's going to be great, man.
All I keep thinking about is, man, I want to go back to Pittsburgh. But that's going to come around the summertime for Latrobe and all that good stuff. Possibly, we might get out to the game.
Jarrell Harris. He says, I'll be there cold. Can't wait to yell at my screen when I hear Jordan Addison. Dude, that's going to be great, man. I love those reactions that we always get.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be joining us this year as far as guests.
Yeah.
It's weird. We usually have a few names, but right now, I mean,
we'll see as time goes on.
Ben. Yep. Speaking of Ben's, we got a new writer.
Yes, we do.
And
we might as well make the announcement now.
Yeah, I should have did that at the beginning, man. This stuff. Yeah, Ben joined us. We got a new writer. He's going to be another co-host of the podcast. We'll probably introduce him to you guys next weekend for episode 4.
Yes, episode 4.
So,
yeah, it's good to have him on board. With the team and see what.
Yeah, Ben, if you're watching, man, shout out to you.
Absolutely, shout out to him. Always good to get another guy on the team.
Of course.
And stuff. And a lot of good stuff coming to SteelTwins.com for sure.
I think he's going to have his first post later this week.
That's good, man. So. I want to get some draft profiles out there on certain guys. I think my first one's going to be on Deonte Banks, who's really drawing up the Steelers draft board as being a huge name when it comes to the Steelers. So
yeah,
I think that's going to be one of my first draft player profiles I'm going to make on the website for sure.
Yeah, not this Ben in the chat, by the way.
No. Well, apparently we're not really true Steelers fans.
Not at all, man.
According to Eddie Harlow. Yeah, I'm not true Steelers fans, but I have a fucking Franco Harris jersey on the
I don't mean
wall.
nothing, bro.
Or a Franco Harris signed
not a fan.
helmet.
Not a fan.
Or Joe Green, or, no.
This jacket ain't enough? Huh?
I have 2 Minka signed jerseys. I mean, I'm not to brag, but I'm serious. Like, why would we not be a true Steelers fan if we didn't invest this much?
Because you don't say the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl every season.
Fine, Steelers going to the Super Bowl. Am I a fan of
God damn.
Did I pass the vibe check?
Oh, damn. Yeah, you're official now, bro.
Is your fan card legitimate, sir?
You're stamped.
I don't know. I don't have my wallet on me. Maybe I should get a Monopoly, get out of jail free card every time I'm not a true fan or something. I don't know. Why have I not made that?
I'm sorry. That takes just it's blasphemy. Honestly,
I'm sure Eddie was just joking, man.
Shout out to Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie, man.
Shout out to
it
Eddie,
just is in general, you know.
shout out to Eddie Munson from Stranger Things, by the way. That's my boy.
What?
Eddie Munson from Stranger Things?
Yeah, I know. That was just random. Okay.
Well, I don't know, dude. What do you want me to say? Shout out
Ben says Payne signs 4-year, $90 million extension with Washington.
Wow.
oh
Is that official?
boy.
More breaking news?
Yep, according to Adam Schefter,
Yep.
Washington's franchise player Deron Payne became the highest-paid defensive tackle in NFL history,
Woo!
not named Aaron Donald, reaching an agreement today on a 4-year, $90 million deal that includes $60 million guaranteed.
Wow. Good for him. Wow.
We getting news here, guys.
Yeah, I told you it's the calm before the storm.
Off-season's rolling. We got the first overall pick being traded. We got Ramsey being traded to the Rams. Deron Payne
The
being
Giants
signed.
are bringing back Sterling Shepard.
Yep.
wide receiver.
We got Aaron Rodgers being rumored to the Jets in the next coming days. Man. And the Steelers have yet to do anything.
Yeah.
Hate to bring it back up, but yes.
Just some cap space. Make something.
That's all I want.
I'm not saying trade for this guy or release this. Well,
Now watch.
release somebody for cap.
Now
That's
watch,
what I mean.
watch. Tomorrow we'll make like 7 different moves out of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
Out of nowhere.
Steelers will just put up a tweet. We have made this many transactions, right?
Yeah.
That's what they would do too. You know, they don't do it. One day and then the other day or two this day. They do it all in one day.
By the way, not to get off topic here, but we are officially 25 subscribers away from 10,000.
25. Hey, if anybody's watching right now in the chat, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Whether you like us or not, if you don't like us, it gives you a chance to sit there and get angry and look at him. I hate that guy. I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
I hope he falls and breaks his neck. But if you love us, then obviously, yeah, I got it.
That's a little aggressive.
A little bit. But just subscribe, goddammit.
Yes, 25 away from 10K, which means that the Hines Ward giveaway, signed jersey giveaway, which we got from Total Sports Enterprises, and that double jersey, mystery signed jersey unboxing, which was crazy.
By the way, Dan told me this. I think he forgot. Why you look at me like that, bro?
What do you mean? Forgot.
Just let me improvise, man. He said if whoever the 10,000th subscriber is, they will receive a Jerome Bettis
No.
autographed jersey.
I said Hines Ward.
I'm sticking out of this.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be you.
It's gonna be me.
You're gonna program.
By the way, since we're on here, I think we're gonna continue doing this live every weekend until it happens. What do you want for that Bettis jersey, bro?
You know what I want?
What, the chair or the seat?
I want that Three Rivers seat. I want that Hines autograph,
Okay.
and I want tickets to the Steelers game.
Damn, see that the third.
That's a big haul.
That's a big haul. That's a big haul.
I'm just kidding. I just want a case of Iron City. No, no.
For real?
No. It's not even trade.
Why would you say that?
It's not even trade.
But you made it seem so legit.
Because I don't know if I can get it up, bro.
Here we go. See, he starts throwing out offers and then he retracts.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What if I gave you this entire thing of Shaleave?
Don't smoke.
Shaleave.
Don't smoke.
You like the smell?
I love the smell. I love everything about it. I don't smoke.
The way I was in here earlier, everyone was getting contact,
Probably.
including the dog.
Including the dog, which she is currently having a good time. Just laying down.
Okay.
But no, see, I don't know, bro. It's bad.
No, you gotta
that's for
keep
you
thinking-
two. That's for you two to discuss.
Yeah,
I'm out of this.
figure it out.
Man, what would be an even trade for that Bettis jersey?
I got to be honest, man. I told you the chair, believe it or not, as cool as that is, that alone is not the same value. Because you can get an autographed one on eBay right now from Pittsburgh, somebody in Pittsburgh, for about $300.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bettis autographed jersey, that's $600 to plus.
Yeah.
So,
See, it's Bettis. So I don't know if I can
and then
get that.
if you get it framed, the price goes up even more.
It's right
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah, I know.
I
Well, Dan,
He's gonna steal it.
that's your property, so.
Well, I'll tell you this though. I don't know what's gonna happen to the Bettis, but I know what's happening to the Ward. That will be the giveaway for the Heinz Ward for the
the next giveaway
for the 10K subscribers,
Yes.
which is coming very fast. And
probably this week.
honestly, Matt, exactly.
Maybe.
If it happens this week, we could have an announcement by next week's podcast.
Yeah, the next episode of Steeler Culture, we could be doing a Heinz Ward jersey giveaway.
Which means that the giveaway will be very similar to the Heath Miller signed mini helmet, where we run a poll or run an entry on SteelTwins.com, and it's open to you guys in the community tab, and you guys can put in your entries, and one random person will win it.
I think it should only be for those that have subscribed though.
Yeah.
STN members.
You think?
Yeah, I do. Because they're the ones that really support the channel the most. And we don't want that link getting out there to the general public.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Because then you're going to have people that aren't subscribed trying to get this jersey. We want those who actually
Been here
have helped. How many years now?
6, 7 years.
7 years now.
7, almost 8 years.
A lot of you that are even tuned in right now, you guys have been watching the Steel Twins for a very long time. And so I feel like those are the people that should be considered for the giveaway.
That's a good option. I've actually thought about combining the STN memberships instead of STN or STN Plus. Just make it one whole STN, and just because it's a lot easier.
Yeah,
it's more simple, and even then it'll still be at like a low cost to enter and be open for giveaways. So that might be an option.
I mean, it kind of sucks to put a giveaway behind the paywall, but there's no other way.
No, because
You share it on the community tab. Eventually, it's gonna spread to other people that aren't even a part of the channel.
yeah, I mean we'll talk more about it off camera just to
Clarify, yeah.
But I think that might be an option, just to give make it more to people that actually been subbed for a while and actually deserve it, rather than just some random person that might have subbed for like 2 days just to possibly get the. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys know where we're going. Let's see. Dominic says, Twins, if you had one Steelers player in the Hall of Fame, who would it be? Elsie Greenwood. No brainer. Why he's not in it, I don't know. Next player for me would be Heinz Ward.
Both of them are very deserving. But it's really crazy how Greenwood's not in there yet after all these years.
I don't get it.
Greenwood absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Who was that? Who? What was it? Somebody that like wrote on their shoes or something that said Elsie. It was Donnie Shell. Yeah, when he was being inducted, I think he wrote on his shoes, Elsie Greenwood for Hall of Fame, something like that.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. He's deserving, man. He really is.
Very deserving. Anyway, it's 4:08 now. I think we're gonna get on out of here. Why not, right? We've been live for
We did over 2 hours.
Wow.
2
Yeah,
hours
we
today,
did.
so.
a little lengthier than a normal podcast, but why not? That's what the podcast is for. Some stuff goes off the rails, and we just keep going, man.
I just want to say too, while we're on here though, before we get out of here, I want to just congratulate you guys, man. You've been doing this for a long time. I've been a big, obviously, I guess, contributor here.
Yes.
Over the years in
Yes.
various ways.
You have no idea, man.
And so the reason I bring that up is because I've been able to watch you guys a lot closer than others, and I know the work that goes into this. You're gonna hit 10,000 this week, and you guys deserve every number that you get.
We thank you. That
Yeah.
means a lot. But
Yeah.
that would not be possible without not only all these people watching and all these people's subscriptions, but your contributions for all the years, man.
I've seen the ups and downs, man, and there was a lot more ups than downs here. So,
Yeah.
and in comparison to what I've done in others, just the longevity of this has been incredible.
Yeah.
It's inspired me in some ways to kind of look at myself and kind of try to make adjustments there as far as just, looking at the longevity. You guys helped me realize that the most important thing to being a creator, entrepreneur, whatever, is literally consistency.
Yes.
And you guys are the example of that. So
Thank you. But again, that
course.
wouldn't be possible without your contributions.
Of course,
over the years.
of
I mean,
course, but-
behind the scenes, you guys don't know how big of a help he's been. Like, truthfully. That's why when people say piggybacking or this and that, I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, you have no idea.
No
like,
idea.
we didn't know
guys.
nothing about PCs or this and that without him.
Or graphics.
but the fact that
or-
we're actual family, like
Yeah, we are.
we could say so much, but we're not.
Like, I literally have another niece coming into the world because of you, so thank you.
Yeah, the way you just said that, too, is kind of like, holy fuck, we got
Yeah.
too many.
Oh, shit. Anyway, we got a $5 super chat from R. Barley18. Says Steelers content making money. Reason why they are happy with Pickett. Tomlin. Our ruling third is about money not winning. Could not agree more.
I mean, yeah, there's some truth to that in any sport, in any team, in any league. Money has become a lot more prominent in everything, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But, yeah, we're going to get on out here and enjoy the rest of our Sunday. And,
Oh, I know I'm about to. As soon as we.
yeah.
I got a little bit of stuff to do.
Yeah. But, yeah, we'll probably crop that Steelers free agency wish list part and make that a separate video to upload tomorrow or Tuesday for sure. And otherwise, we shall see what the Steelers do this week, if they do anything. But they have to do something to do something. So, what the fuck did I just say? I don't know.
I don't know, bro. I just zoned out.
Nonetheless, we're going to get on out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, the rest of your Sunday. And thank all you guys for tuning in. And, yeah, details on the 10K subscriber will be coming very shortly, so keep in tune for that.
Yep.
Otherwise, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please do us a favor and do us a 5-star rating for the Steeler Culture podcast. And, of course, think about being STN member. Giveaways will be open to that, and potentially the 10K giveaway could be open to that. So become an STN member today. Just hit the join tab on YouTube. Otherwise, check out SteelTwins.com. Shout out to all you guys. Love y'all. And content's only going to keep coming as the Steelers continue to make moves. If they make moves, but they have to.
They will make moves. It's just when. Yeah.
And our next mock draft will be out sometime after the couple waves of free agency. Hopefully that opens some eyes and other positions and closes a lot of holes. But
yeah, definitely. Post free agency mock draft coming soon, guys.
yeah, but
So definitely stay tuned. But thank you guys for the support. Can't thank you guys enough. Justin, can't thank you for your contributions.
Of course.
and for joining us, as this was a very fun podcast.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of good discussions and stuff going off the rails, but that's what the podcast is about, man.
And for the haters out there, man, you're going to have to hate it even more harder because it's only going to get better from here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cannot wait. See you guys in the next one.
And like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!